Hello, are you there?
You're
Yes, you are now listening to the sounds of Sports Reports as ordered. America got Mr. Logical with me. Me,
Broncos in the building.
I'm 2-5. Baltimore, baby. So, tonight, we're going to talk to you about Game 1 reactions. Lakers Nuggets Game 2 coming underway in about 30 minutes. We saw Jimmy Butler do it again. Haney walked into Boston and said, "This is my house." Then we're going to get you all caught up with the draft lottery, some thoughts going forward, what's Portland going to do, what's Houston going to do, so on and so forth. And then we're going to get you ready. Some pugilism. Loma. Devin Haney.
Pugilism. I like that word.
Yes. Mr. Logical, what it do?
What's going on? We're in the thick of about to hit the 100 critical days of summer. Anybody in the military knows about that. So Memorial Weekend coming up. We got the air show coming out here to Jersey. So that's going to be crazy all weekend. It's going to be free to the public. So if you're in the area, come on down to McGuire Air Force Base. Check out the air show. But now we're going to talk sports. We're going to talk it logically. We're going to talk it, the way we do our thing. No hypothetical debates.
And don't forget, people, we got the NHL Conference Finals. Florida and Carolina on one side. Dallas and Vegas on the other. So.
Talking about a successful expansion team.
Yes, right? So game ones are in the books, people. Lakers go down by 6 to Denver. They felt like they were down by 40 most of the game. They made an inspired comeback, and now all of America in wrath think that like the Lakers are going to win this series. The Nuggets are done for, over in 5, gentlemen sweep. Why, Raph? Why?
The overreaction is killing me. I give you that. I think people are kind of looking back to the bubble. It was 2.5 years ago when they had their bubble run. Jokic is playing way better. Like I said, the continuity that Denver has, that they've had all year. Mm-hmm. They didn't make a big trade at the trade deadline and have to incorporate 3 or 4 new bodies. And as well as a trade before with like Rui Hachimura with the Lakers, and made that trade early. And just dealing with so much stuff all season long. The Lakers, they didn't really have to deal with that. They have their guy who went 30, 20, and 10. Something crazy like that. I mean, it's like the conversation should have been about Jokic having the historic game. AD dropped 40 still. It was an entertaining basketball game. Like I said, we looked at the playoffs. We did our playoff preview. We thought it was going to be chalk 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2, 3, and we're going to get Milwaukee versus Denver. And it's not shaping up that way. But in the Denver LA series, I think LA has a shot because I think the way LA has been playing, LeBron off the ball, AD dominated inside, and all these other guys, I think they're getting their shot. Back in the day, if Mario Chalmers and Norris Cole and the Miami Heatles took 12 or 14 shots, LeBron's not gonna be happy. But now, like he went 9 for 16. So LeBron took 16 shots, 0 for 4 from 3. That late 3, I thought it was gonna go in. It was gonna tie the game up. But playing off the ball, I think they're buying it defensively. Granted, their half-court defense is way better than their transition defense, but luckily, Jokic is not a guy that's going to bring the ball up the court quickly. He can get a quick outlet pass, a la like a Kevin Love kind of pass. He can get that off quick. And like his awkwardness, but it's smooth. It's like a smooth awkwardness. It's like when you hang out with a guy for the first time, he's kind of awkward at work, and y'all go out and you see him talking to women at the bar. You're like, yo, this dude's kind of goofy, but it's working. And it works like you go over there and everyone's laughing, having a good time. It's like, yo, this dude is so goofy, but it works for him. And I think
that's me.
I think that helps their group. It just helps the group dynamic with Jokic being that way. Then you have all your traditional guys, KCP playing out of his mind. I mean, maybe we talked about the motivation, extra motivation versus are you not motivated enough? But they did ship him off for Russell Westbrook
Mm-hmm.
and sent him to Washington, where careers go to die normally. But he made his way to Denver and he was out there balling. He had over 20 points every time they sagged off of him. The double team Jokic in the first 3 quarters, he was just shooting open threes. I don't know. I think it was an entertaining game. Yeah, what 240, 258 points in an NBA game in the playoffs where they played well. It wasn't like teams weren't playing well. They played well. It's just that Denver and continuity and their best player going 30, 20, and 10, and the Lakers' best player getting you 40, but he's giving you 40 and burning a lot of energy to get the comeback. So I like it so far. I'm good with it. I'm good with the series. I like it. I don't think it's gonna be Lakers in 5. Like I said, I picked Lakers in 7 because, like I said, that was an easy cop out pick. But I think both of these series are gonna go 7. But I will be surprised if they don't.
Yes. So apparently the Nuggets don't watch film though, because Mike Malone, if I see Jamal Murray end up on LeBron one more time out of the switch,
Man, he was abusing him.
It was Steph all over again.
He was abusing him.
Like I don't understand. Like, so I get it, right? Like the game of basketball today is all about switching and having the ability to switch. Your plan shouldn't be for Jamal Murray to end up on LeBron. But let's talk about D'Lo for a second. 26 minutes in game 1. What was his plus minus, Raph?
I'm going to say minus 40.
Well, I mean, close enough. Negative 25.
Yeah, it's 40.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So I think this might be the series where we might see Malik Beasley get back on the court and, to get D'Lo out of there. I don't know if how long he's going to be playable. If that continues tonight, you may have to make that adjustment and just put him to the back of the bench where he belongs, and then I was sitting there.
He was the number 2 overall pick.
How many years ago was that?
I mean, it was a while ago.
Hey, Wiggins was number 1, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we already talked about him offline. They don't put him
at the back of the bench. Yeah.
Yes, sometimes they should. But so Raph hit me up, late Tuesday night to tell me Lakers in 5. And, while he was on his Laker in 5 kick, everybody else in Real Sports 365 was going on and on about Denver's not going to shoot like this ever again. They're not going to hit those type of shots again. And you know what? Correct. Only problem is I don't know if the Lakers are going to shoot as well as they shot consistently throughout this series. They shot 46% from 3. They shot 55% from the floor, but when looking at their playoffs, like the reason I bring that up is because when I'm looking at their playoffs, against the Grizzlies, they shot 31% from 3 for the series. And against Golden State, they shot 35.7. So it went up, but it wasn't no damn 45.
Everybody was hot. Everybody was hot. The ball.
It was just the flow of the game.
The ball in the ocean game 1. That Jokic 3 at the end of the third, when AD just looked at him and smiled. It's like something like that. That shows you the level of respect that AD has for Jokic. Like,
I wish everybody else had that respect for Jokic.
He was guarding him at 27 feet.
Yeah,
that shot was like 28. So with the clock running down the third quarter, you got a 7-footer guarding another 7-footer 28 feet from the hoop, and he still makes it. It's like he just looked at him and smiled.
So do you think Rui starts tonight? And if so, is he going to guard Jokic from the onset of the game?
No, I don't think so.
Because I was looking at
I think you put him on there because I think the reason it was effective in the fourth.
Oh, I'll tell you why it was effective.
the Lakers were making their run. They put AD basically playing free safety. So unless you pull somebody else out there that's gonna confidently shoot the 3 or shoot the 15-foot jumper that AD has to guard, if that person, I don't know if Aaron Gordon is that.
That's what I was about to say.
Yep. It's like I'm gonna let this fly from 15 feet, or is he a guy that likes to dribble, drive, get the layup or the
Well, that's why it worked, because Aaron Gordon was looking into the crowd instead of moving around. You know what I mean? Like, so all he has to do is be a little more active. Like, even if he doesn't take the shot, go set a screen somewhere. Pull AD out of there. Because when Rui was guarding Jokic, AD was basically playing free safety out there. Wherever the ball goes, I'm right there, and that's the last person you want near the ball. And the Lakers, something that alarmed me about them, and we talked about this, so go ahead and tell me, everybody, what you told me. Like, the Lakers are just lazy. Like, transition defense is non-existent. So go ahead and
They're
say it.
big.
Okay, they're big, y'all.
They're big,
They're big,
lumbering
y'all.
dudes. They have 2 small guards and 1 old big forward, another big forward, or AD 4 to 5.
But those transition points could be the difference in the series.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why they always keep somebody. That's why they always get dumb fouls at 92 feet from the hoop, because they keep somebody back on those rebounds.
And don't forget,
so they can get back, because they're not fast. They're not a
fast. Don't forget, some of that fourth quarter comeback was a lot of those refs putting the Lakers on the line too.
No, it was. Yes, it was. I don't think the calls were that bad. I think what
happened. There were a few.
They got the Lakers were getting, like you said, that 46% from 3. In the third, because I was watching, I was doing the math. I was like, all right, I think they were down like 17. And I was thinking, all right, if they got a 3 here when they had the ball, come down to Finn, get it down to 11. And they got a 2, and you got a couple of and ones. So when they had it at 11, I'm like, I know they won the tip, so they were going to get the ball to start the fourth quarter. I was like, they'll get the ball. They'll be down 11 going into the fourth, get the ball, get a chance to get it under 10 early in the fourth. I think that puts pressure on the team that had a 20-plus point lead at any point throughout the game, when the other team is storming back and they start off the fourth quarter and get it to 8.
Did Jokic wear himself out?
I don't think he wore himself out. I think I heard somebody say this. He was like, those guys are like such fine-tuned athletes that I don't think they get worn out. I mean, I think they get just your general level of tired, but I don't think he's out there like, oh, I really wish I could sit down. Because he was getting a lot of breaks, because they made a run when he got a break.
Well, I just wondered how Rui's defense would have looked on Jokic like in the second quarter. Would it have looked any different, or like would it have played out still kind of the same way it did?
I think it just was a matter of giving him a different look.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the momentum's with LA. Give him a different look, put a strong body on him that was not going to affect the shot.
Mm-hmm.
You just put a body on him. Rui's pretty fresh. I don't know how many minutes he played, but if you just tell him, yo, your responsibility is to put all your energy into the lower back of Jokic, AD's got your back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, cool. It's like playing with Patrick Ewing or Akeem Olajuwon. Just funnel everything to where he can get to it. That was like 3 or 4 possessions where just AD's presence got the Lakers an easy run out.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Rivers got a 3 off of it. And then Jokic trying to throw a lob or maybe shoot a floater. AD got a piece of that. They came back down. They got the switch. And Jamal Murray is bear hugging LeBron trying to get the stop.
Did you just say Austin Rivers?
Oh, Austin Reeves, my bad. They're both light skinned. But I think D'Lo stays because, especially early, because LeBron's not trying to shoot early.
Mm-hmm.
He'll fire off a couple threes. If they drop, then maybe he'll get into it. But other than that, you're like, listen, y'all do your thing. I'm going to control it with my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Get it to AD. Try to get somebody in foul trouble.
Yeah, and
try to make them bring somebody in small. And when they bring another small guy in, then LeBron's going to put that guy in the pick and roll.
Mm-hmm. Then you also got to know that KCP is probably not going to average 21 in this series. Like, I think that he'll hit maybe some timely shots here and there. He'll make some good defensive plays, but he's not going to do what he did the other night. But I think
he can, man.
I think Bruce Brown is the catalyst. I think he's the one. I think he holds a lot of Denver's because Michael Porter Jr. eventually is gonna, as I say, come back to the mean. When they get to LA, Michael Porter is not going to look like he looked in game 1. Murray is going to fall back a little bit as well when they get to LA. Bruce Brown, I think it's just one of those players where it doesn't matter the venue, his effort level doesn't change. And I need to see the Lakers, like, to feel confident about the Lakers going forward in this series. I need to see them with a more concerned effort on the boards too.
Yeah, they had the first half. Denver had more offensive rebounds than the Lakers had total rebounds.
Jokic had more rebounds than the Lakers.
Yeah,
in the
but in the
first
first
half.
half, they had more offensive rebounds than
And I
the
think
Lakers had total rebounds. So, like,
like
if you eliminate that, but you eliminate that by putting a body on, and that's where I
yeah.
think D'Lo is going to stay on the floor because they got to tell Anthony, like, okay, cool, that 40 was dope, but it was empty calories. Get us 14 to 15 rebounds.
He had
Limit.
10.
You got to cut. You got to cut their offensive rebounds in half. Whatever the number was, it has to be half
Well,
that this
well, I
game.
know entering the fourth quarter, Jokic, when he got that 19th rebound, the Lakers were at 20 at that point. You know,
Yeah, they did
so
not do a good job on the boards, and it didn't look like it either. Like
yeah, it's effort.
sometimes it just looked like Jokic was the only arm
Well, some rebounds you
above
can't stop.
everyone else.
Some rebounds
Yeah,
you can't stop because he does the tip thing. You know, he tips it to himself and all of that. So he's got that part. But like, so you could live with 3 or 4 of those. But there were just some rebounds, like you said, he was like the only person that seemed like they wanted to get the ball. You
yeah.
know, so that's where people like, and it goes back to the same thing that I've been asking, and I don't want to overreact, but why ain't Lonnie Walker getting more minutes?
Because somebody you have, I think you need a competent scorer on the floor at all times on the wing because LeBron isn't going to take that many shots. He's not going to take over 20. He's only going to take about 16 to 20
Hey,
shots.
he better take
I
20.
mean,
He better
I
take
don't. I don't
20
think so.
if Mary ends up on him a few more times tonight. He better take
If
20.
they keep switching Murray onto him, then yeah, I think he'll keep taking it to the cup. But even then, I
Kick
think
it
he
out.
will kick it out because it's like I got to get to the fourth quarter because those guys through these first two series, the Lakers won both of their first series in six, so they're 8-4 up until this point. He's like, okay, they've played good basketball. They played great in the play-in, even though AD almost ruined it with the unnecessary foul. These guys were grinding while he was injured. I think he has a combination of like, all right, I don't need to do everything, and these guys can do everything. Like this guy can rebound, help out with the rebounds the way I could. This guy can assist the ball, being Schroeder. Austin Reeves can get in the paint and get the points. So it's like I hope they stop doing that celebration. I just if you do it to in the half on that long three, okay, I get it.
Do it when you take the lead in the fourth quarter or something. Like he does it
You
every
hit
shot.
you hit the game winner. Every once in a while you talk a little greasy
Oh
because
man, they got Rui talking to Stephen A and them now. Okay.
they had Michael Porter or Michael whatever his name is. I keep messing
Yes,
up.
Michael
Too many
Porter
names.
Jr., not Michael Carter.
Yeah. So they had him yesterday. Like who's not going to play a factor in this game? Yeah, go talk to the media.
Mhm.
But like I said, just Jokic is going to do what Jokic does. You might have to be wary of a Jamal Murray, I'm him kind of game, like a Hemi Butler kind of game. Because these guys, they watch the other games. They, I think they're all fans of basketball. They saw, and we'll talk about. They saw what Jimmy Butler did, and people see what Jimmy Butler's doing this entire playoff run. I think that might inspire some guys. I remember in the bubble, Jamal Murray talked about how Donovan Mitchell was going off, and he was like, "I
Mhm.
don't see why I can't do it too." So you get these opportunities. I think guys would jump for it because you got a star at home. You know that the defense is going to be shifted to stopping Jokic. There's going to be a liability somewhere on the
Mhm.
Lakers defensive end, and Murray has to take advantage of that, which I think
Right.
he will because he's at home. Now you keep Jokic to maybe his season average. You keep him at 26, 10 and 10, somewhere around there. Then you have a shot. Even though they only lost by 6, it felt like 16 because they were just clawing back. If they would have tied it on that LeBron 3, then I think maybe overtime or maybe they get a break in game 1. But when that shot didn't go in, it was like, okay, we ran out of gas. It's like you're chasing someone in tag, and then they make that last juke move and you miss. It's like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
so
really
it's
quick energy
funny.
mode.
It's funny because I think the Lakers win tonight, but I don't feel very confident about it. It's not like an emphatic like the Lakers are going to win tonight. It's just more like I can't see LeBron and AD going down 2-0. It's more like that.
I mean, I can though. Like, I mean, I know I picked them at 7.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see just the level of comfort that the role players on Denver have at home, and the fact you can't. I understand that Lakers going to have to switch up whatever they were doing defensively, or maybe they go back to the philosophy that I talked about before with the Steve Nash conundrum, where you let Steve, Chris Paul, Westbrook, you let these guys get 40, let them get 42. Similar to what happened with AD. You let AD just get your points, but don't let
Mm-hmm.
him get any rebounds. Don't let him get any blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep the ball away from him. Shoot shots this way. So when they come to help, AD's a non-factor. So it looks like, oh, I'm kicking it out because AD has me and I can't go around him. Nah, like
Mm-hmm.
they sent help to Jokic, kick it out to KCP, shoots a three. So maybe they let Jokic go bananas and he goes 45, but it's 45, 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I can see that.
you put and you rotate AD over to where Jamal Murray is when he's coming to the rim.
Yeah, because like I mentioned, he scored 53, had 11 boards and 4 assists in the game against Phoenix in that series that they
Four
lost.
assists.
4 assists.
Four
That was,
assists.
and that's what
That's
I
the
said,
thing.
and that was my thoughts coming into the series is that's the approach they have to have. And the good thing about it is, even if you're letting Jokic get his, AD is good enough to where it may not be efficient or it may not take over the game or whatever the case may be. Like AD is still going to be able to get a block here and there or like just force him into tougher
Yeah,
shots.
you want him to come down and be in the situations where he has to 2, 3 possessions in a row. He might have to take the shot
Mm-hmm.
because instead of switching Jamal Murray on the pick and roll, you show big and you get AD sticking his arm out and then run it back in the paint. And now you got to move the ball back around to Jokic again. You figure you set something else up. Aaron Gordon gets the ball in his hand late in the shot clock. Jeff Green. Yeah, these guys can shoot, but they get the ball at 7 seconds in the shot clock. Then
So
you get a few cheap possessions that way, but it could backfire. Whereas Jokic just knows, all right, they're gonna let me get 50. I'm not gonna do it. I'm still gonna kick it out to KCP and have him shoot this shot.
well, I think he has I don't know how to word this, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I think he has LeBron brain from the standpoint of the high
KCP
IQ.
said the
Like,
same thing.
yeah, like he knows when the defense is trying to bait him, or like when like now that they did the Rui thing, I
Yeah,
think that he'll
they
adjust
showed
better
it.
to that.
They showed
Yeah.
that card, so they that's why you can't start Rui because it's like, oh, we've seen this already, and
Well,
we
I
know
was
how to
thinking,
beat this.
well, I was thinking that Austin Rivers. See, now you got
There it
me doing it.
is.
You got
Yeah,
me
see,
doing it. I was thinking that Austin Reeves could do in this series, and it may not be at that point yet, but eventually he could do the Manu thing where he's that spark off the bench. He's that consistent scorer coming off the bench with the next unit, but I don't think it's that time just yet. But I think that could be something that we see as the series goes on, depending on what happens
I
tonight.
think they like his energy and his I know it's not something they talk about with white basketball players. His athleticism defensively, where I'm not sure how much defense D'Angelo Russell plays. Is it just because I think he's tall? I think he's about 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, he's
So I
six
think
five zero. He plays zero defense.
so he has his length, and what he does, he pressures you on the offensive end. So it's the whole, Steph, when Steph was running around chasing you, like he might not be a great defender, but you're gonna chase him. So then when you're on your offensive end, you're like, man, I don't want this ball because I know as soon as we get the rebound, I gotta chase stuff up the floor. Like
Right.
Shumpert didn't shoot a lot of shots in those series with Cleveland when he was chasing stuff around. So like I said, I mean, oh, it's a like I said, it's a 50-50. I think this is probably the most evenly matched 1 versus 7 we'll see, but similar to the Miami 8 versus 2 with Boston. Uh, but like I said, I'll take the Lakers tonight just because I think they will adjust and
Yeah.
Jokic is gonna get his points. Just they're gonna keep him under 7 assists.
Yeah, I say Lakers
Try
by
to keep them
4.
off the boards. Use AD to keep them off the boards. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if you could play Tristan Thompson at all. I don't know what you can get from him other than just a
Fouls.
6'10" body and some fouls. Maybe
Hmm.
he can grab some of those tips and
Yeah,
just
I mean, maybe he could. grab some
So, but I don't
rebounds.
know.
Maybe he could grab some rebounds and inspire somebody else. Like look at this old man, or like look at this bum out here. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like,
Dive on the floor for a couple
yeah,
of loose balls.
just some energy plays.
Just energy plays, get a cheap foul on someone because he's battling for the rebound. And Aaron Gordon pushes him. And he gets a cheap foul on Aaron Gordon
Hmm.
off a guy who's no offensive threat at all. Just something like that. I mean, I don't know what kind of dice you would willing to roll in the Western Conference play, finals.
Hmm.
But I mean, you need a big body to rebound. Effort, size. He gives you your size. We'll see if he gives you the effort.
You know what I need? I need to see Jason Tatum do these things in consecutive games. So last year, he struggled a little bit from time to time in the playoffs. Like he would have a 40-point game here, then he would shoot like 2 for 13 or something like that. So he didn't shoot that bad last night. But there were moments in the waning moments of that game where I
He
felt
traveled 2 times in a
two
row.
times in a row. And I just felt that he didn't want the ball. But before I let you go, I just got to get this out before I forget to say it. I'm glad that I'm not the only person that Joe Mazzulla confuses, because he confused the hell out of Marcus Smart last night too.
So I was looking at it. I was watching the game, um, and I was in here doing some custom Air Force Ones. I'm going to see Little Mermaid with my daughter, so I'm painting some ones to match my Little Mermaid shirt. So like I'm in here just just using my brain, trying to expand it, put a new wrinkle in it, and I'm looking at the game, and I'm like, what? I'm looking. I got the iPad set up. I'm like, why is Pritchard on the floor? Like, how much time's left in the game?
Hey, you better stop disrespecting Pritchard. We talked about this.
Cool, yeah. But Marcus, and I looked like, and I saw Marcus Smart's yellow shoes on the bench. But I was like I said, I watched the games with the sound down. I was like, is he in foul trouble? So I was looking. I'm like, okay, I can't be the only one that notices this. So I turned the volume back up and I was watching it. And I believe Van Gundy was like, why is Tatum not getting the ball on every possession the way Jimmy Butler's getting it on the Miami end? And I was thinking, like, all right. And then they did the interview in between the third and fourth quarter, and it said the youngest coach in the NBA. I'm like, okay, that's why. Young people sometimes just don't understand that. Listen, man, the wheel is already shaped appropriately. Just put some air in it. You don't have to do anything different. Get the bike, put the wheels on it, and ride. Sometimes you just got to put your best players out there. Foul trouble, energy level, if they have stitches, rolled ankle, whatever. Can you go? Then you go. When I saw Pritchard out there with less than 9 minutes to go in the fourth, I'm like, why is he out there? Because
And it
first
was the
of all,
same
you
thing.
can
He kept ending
tell,
up on Jimmy.
and you can tell he didn't want to be out there because there was one play he got the ball. And normally, when he was out there with the second unit, their last game in the season, and he put up like, I think he made like 13 or put up like 13 threes or made 12 or some crazy number, like made like 11 or some crazy number like that. He was shooting with confidence because he was playing with the second unit against the second unit. He got the ball after I noticed he was still on the floor, and he looked to his left, he made a dribble, and immediately passed it to his right. It almost got stolen. I think he got it to Brogdon. He barely got the ball at Brogdon, then drove to the lane, got a layup, maybe nan one. But that was a split second away from being a steal. Miami going the other way with Gabe Vincent. He's like, why is Marcus Smart not on the floor? Why is the ball not going through Tatum? Even if you alternated possessions, Brown, Tatum, Brown, Tatum, you should have been given Miami consistent looks. When they were up 71-59, and then Miami stormed back, call a timeout.
That's where he
One
confused me. He
call
was
a
trying to do the
timeout.
Phil Jackson thing and let them play through
Let
it.
him let
But
him
then
play
but then
play.
at the start of the, like when they were in the middle of a comeback or a little run in the fourth quarter, and he called the timeout. And that's where he confuses Marcus Smart. And Marcus Smart gave him the look like, what are you doing?
Sometimes it's like you could get to in the analytics and you can tell like some of the words he uses, you can tell he's I was talking about this with the guy at the office. Is like in my office, he's smart, and people can who an intelligent person, a smart person is, But then sometimes people want to show you that they're smart
Hmm.
and give you unnecessary stuff like, oh, look at this new Excel
Oh,
sheet that
look, I know the
that
word soliloquy.
like I created this word. Yeah, that's my favorite word. That's when I use it today. Talk about something that's funny. But like, look what I created. You can just input this information, then you hit this button and it spits out this report. I'm like, yo, there's already a website that gives me that report. But you could tell he's one of those guys that just
Well,
tries
he
to
just he just
show
says
like, look how
things.
smart I am.
He says things, and I don't understand. Like they asked him like, why didn't you call timeout? Like when Miami started to do their thing, and he was like, well, I used a few timeouts in the first half. I'm like, what that got to do with anything? Like you got
He's
enough timeouts that you had enough timeouts to call a timeout.
We have to match the ferocity of our intensity and our vulnerabilities and our capabilities
That's like
to our
back in the
best of our
day.
ability. I'm
It's
like,
like
what are you
back in the day,
talking about?
I used to always think about Jesse Jackson. It's like the disorganization of the emancipation of the proclamation of the, like just,
Yeah, it's
and
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 that's
it's
what he does. And maybe they get it, but I just was like, sometimes you just got to say, yo, we need more effort. They're beating us on the hustle plays. Like Spo doesn't say that. Spo says stuff like, "Hey, they got too many offensive rebounds. I need you guys to rebound better. That's why we're out there. Hey, that's why you're out there. I need you to rebound better."
why did so Joe Mazzulla confused me again like multiple times because I was like, why did he start the game with Horford on Jimmy Butler? Like that was just wild. And so my adjustment that I was talking about that. Where's Grant Williams?
Yo,
Like
you've been in the doghouse for a minute.
I
He's
know,
been with
but
the second unit
you
for
know,
weeks now.
well, I know it coming into the season they were trying to work out an extension, so he is a free agent at the end of this season. But
Now they can pay him peanuts if they
but
want to keep
but
him.
when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, like that's another body. So you put from 2-5's perspective, you start with Jalen Brown on Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy starts going off, slide Jason over. If he's doing up Jason, put Grant Williams in there on him. It's just another body because I was looking at Horford and Robert Williams, and they were still helping on Bam. I mean, Bam had a good game. He was like 9 for 13. He had a good game, but I was like,
Yeah.
why are y'all sending the second body at Bam? Like Jimmy's the one that's going to do you. Like Jimmy's the one that if he gets going, he's going to, Vincent, Struess, all these dudes are going to be waiting on the wing. Caleb Martin even coming in the game hitting some threes. So Jimmy Butler is like the anti Tatum because Tatum usually comes on late. Jimmy Butler comes
Yeah.
out from the get go and tries to grab the game by the throat. So he's the one that you send the doubles or the bodies or, you come off that
If
screen.
every team had a guy like Jimmy Butler, the ratings would be through the roof.
Yeah.
If we had 30 Jimmy Butlers, Hemi Butlers, Bimmy Jutler, whatever it is, it's just the way he plays. He's fierce. Spo says that he just embodies the team and people go with it. But he just plays hard
Right.
basketball.
Right.
Analytics probably told the Celtics coaching staff that Bam Adebayo has this many turnovers per game when passing out of a double team when he gets the ball on this side. So if he gets the ball on the right side of the hoop, we're gonna send a double and he'll throw whatever something silly like
That's
that.
fine. But if it's not working, you got to do something else like
Or like the
adjustments.
Bill Belichick where he will put the number one corner on the number two guy and then double the number one guy. Like that's what
Right.
they need to be doing. Just
Right.
put your second defender or your third defender on Bam and let Bam eat and run two people at Jimmy Butler. Make Jimmy Butler give the ball up.
Mm-hmm.
Make him
And
give the ball up because he's not. I'm gonna say he's not valuable off the ball, but he creates so much with the ball in his hand just fluidly. It's not a chunky and he's not overdoing it. He's not trying to make this crazy pass. It's just that you have to respect him. He's gonna drive to the hoop, dump it off to Bam Adebayo, or kick it out to Vincent in the corner,
mm-hmm.
or even when Kevin Love comes in the game. Kevin Love comes in the game, you should have him and pick and roll and just make him work. It's only
Mm-hmm.
so much energy he has in his legs. I think he's 35
Yeah, even he's
range.
something like that. Yeah,
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 so just make him work. Kyle Lowry is the boy wonder. He probably is playing like he's 28 or 29, but he
man,
fouls a lot.
yeah.
He fouls a lot. So just put these guys in positions where they're not comfortable because what Boston was doing, they were just trying to run their offense versus all right, how do we beat this defense. And it's like, well, get somebody in foul trouble. Get to like
Hmm.
they were getting to the
Just
paint. Miami was just letting them go. Like, all right, cool, we're not gonna foul you, but
just like
you
I
know,
said Monday, playing with their food. You know what I mean? Like they have these chances to take control of something or put a stranglehold on something, and they just don't. They always come back in the end, to win the series or whatever. But that's going to come back to bite them. And Miami is the because I told you Monday, like these teams have played each other 2 out of the last 3 years in the Eastern Conference Finals. Miami is not intimidated by that building.
Jimmy
They
Butler sets his feet last year, they go to the finals.
exactly. It was that simple.
If he sets his feet for a half second,
Hmm.
maybe takes he slows up into his dribble and pulls up because he came down. You could tell he was like, I'm going for the three. I'm going for the three. And he just ran to the 3 point line and pulled up. If
Hmm.
he slowly, a la what Steph did it in that OKC game in the overtime, when he slowed up, granted, he shot it from like 35 feet. But the only real buzzer beater we have from Steph at the OKC game was a couple years ago when he won MVP
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he stepped
It
into
was
that
ABC
long three.
Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah, when he stepped into that long three.
Hmm.
Jimmy Butler does that. They are in the finals last year, and Boston is. So they're gonna have to. I won't say
I would have
abandon
loved
the
to have seen him
coaching
against the
philosophy.
Warriors. That would have been awesome to see.
That would have been fun. That would
Hmm.
have been tough. They just gotta abandon the over. Just put your best horses out there and let them race.
So are you nervous for Boston going forward, or was this
I'm
just
not
a?
because they're at home. They're at
Mhm.
home and they show they can win on the road.
So
Miami isn't a conglomerate of great scorers. So
conglomerate.
it's not like they're gonna beat you. They're not gonna beat you like Sacramento would. Like you let Sacramento go ahead, they might drop 125 points on you like that.
So
Miami's
my
still only gonna score 112 points. You just got to get to 113.
so Miami shot 31 threes last night. How many did they make?
16.
16. Ain't that something? You know what I'm saying?
52% from three
Like this is nuts. You know what I
on
mean?
the
Like
road.
on the road, game one in that building with those weird ass accents.
And
You know,
they were down double digits.
it's
I
just
know they were down
unbelievable.
12 at the beginning of the third. I'm not
Mhm.
sure if they were down double digits in the first, so I can't
Well,
recall.
the first half was close up until like the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, and Boston kind of did their thing, but like Miami erased all that within the blink of the eye, So
Yo, it was so quick. It was
this
so
dude ain't
quick.
called timeout.
I was like, I looked up and the crowd's going crazy. Like I said, I watched with the sound off. The crowd's going crazy. 71-59. I'm like, okay. I look back down. I do a couple more paint strokes. Look back. It's it's 71-62. Like, all right, cool. 71-65. Miami's up 75
For the
72.
love of God.
I was like, I know 12-point leads aren't just safe and just locked.
Right,
They're not
right.
like, it's not like the NFL where you have a 17-point lead and you pretty much just like, all right, you look up and it's like, okay, it's 10-point lead, whatever.
But
I looked over, it's like they down four. I was like,
well, there was a play. I mentioned the play where Marcus Smart, when Missoula called the timeout, and Marcus Smart looked at him like, "What are you doing?" There was a play where Jason Tatum came down the court like during that spurt, and like the way he was dribbling, like especially in college basketball, they get the ball, they run to that one corner, and the timeout is like basically automatic, like the ref already knew.
yeah.
Like so Tatum came up the court and he just kind of stopped and looked at the bench like he was just waiting for Missoula or something. He was waiting for the
Like, yo,
whistle.
we got to stop this bleeding.
Yeah, and it just
It was,
didn't happen. So I don't know if Missoula is like, hey, like let's work through this. Like it'll make you guys better. But it's like you're in the Eastern Conference Finals now. Like your team is what
yeah.
they are in those
Yeah.
moments.
You can get better in January.
Yeah.
You need to execute in May. Like, that's what you do. So, I mean, does it build resilience? Does it build the bounce, not break philosophy of the team? Yes. Is that good for a team to have? Yes. It's not good to have when you're 3 games away from your season being over.
Right. Right.
You need to execute. You can't have like I think they had Peyton Pritchard, Brogdon, and Williams on the floor with Brown and Horford. That was a lineup on the floor with about 7 minutes left. And I'm like, Where is Tatum? It should be Tatum,
It's like, are
Brown,
you waving the
Horford,
white flag already?
and it was
Jalen
and
Brown.
I think they were down. They were down by at least 9, at least
Jalen
a point
Brown
where,
1 for 6 from three. By the way,
yo, these 3-point shots, and what I noticed about the 3-point shot, and it's always baffled me every time I watch basketball my entire life, or just the blowouts. When a team is up by 10 or 12 or 15, the role players,
they
they
get
just
crazy.
they get a green light. They get that green light, and like, think about it. Look how all of these series, like some of these series have ended. The Memphis Lakers series, 40 points. Then you had the Lakers
Golden
Warriors
State.
series,
Mm-hmm.
27, 30 points, some 27 points. Boston just beat Philly's brains out. And when Jason Tatum was shooting that ball, he literally was turning around like, I can't believe that just went in. It just was. So then when Miami was just, beating on Milwaukee, these guys, they just heat up. And I think that Boston, that's why Tatum got the 2 travels, because when he scored 51 against Philly, it was, I mean, I think somebody was underneath of
Most in a
him,
game 7 in history.
straight up. Like, you
That's
can't have
crazy
a
how that
historic
works. Like
performance.
these records or whatever don't never break or whatever, and then like one person breaks it, and then next week, we got a whole new record.
And everyone was talking about how great Stuff's performance was, and then 8 days later, it's like, hey, guess what just happened?
Yeah,
Well, like, maybe it was a
like,
little longer, maybe like
yeah,
11 days. But you could just tell when I was watching that game 7, it was like when that ball was leaving his hand, it was just super confident. He has to play with that confidence tomorrow night, and
every
just let
night,
it fly. Just
every
let it
night. That's what
fly.
I'm
Like,
saying. There's something.
you are an MVP candidate on the
Hmm.
team. This is like their 5th or 6th trip to the Eastern Conference
Yeah,
Finals.
I mean, remember I had him as the MVP in
He's not even
one
old
of
enough
our
to run
earlier
a car at the
episodes.
airport yet. Like, he can't go to a counter at the airport and run a car without paying the extra fee.
But
And he's like doing, I mean, pretty sure I think he's
yeah,
25, but he just got that privilege. And you're having, you can go back to your rookie year when you dunked on LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals and flexed on him. Like,
hmm.
rest on those kind of things with the third different coach.
So what
I
happens
mean,
if they
like,
lose
all
this
the things.
series? What happens if they lose this series? Like, do they move Jalen Brown? Like, what happens?
I you I wouldn't,
I wouldn't either,
because I don't think, and we'll talk about the draft stuff
because
here shortly. I don't think
Milwaukee
any
is,
team's getting stronger.
yeah, like Milwaukee, like adding a coach. Like, I don't know who they're gonna add, but I don't think he makes whoever it is makes that much of a difference of what Milwaukee is.
If they don't add Clay Thompson, Clay Thompson is somebody that can
Philly.
just flat out shoot. Philly,
Philly, if Harden
Philly's about to
leaves,
be one of those teams where free agents don't want to go.
yeah, like Atlanta, are they going to move Trey Young? Miami, will be Miami. There'll still be a threat come playoff time, but they're not going to be a 1 seed. The Knicks, like,
The Cavaliers be good because they have young talent and they have a
mhm.
star in Donovan Mitchell. I think Brooklyn will be better
But they
because
still need somebody.
they need a, I don't want to say Trey Young or Dame Lillard. I want to use a name. They need someone who plays. They need a Jamal Murray kind of
Yeah, I can see that.
best player. Like, I'm the scorer that works hard, and you guys are all, not say the supporting cast, but like
Hmm.
just that piece. Like, if Donovan Mitchell could get to Brooklyn, like, that would make them. If Donovan
And
Mitchell another a 16 guy that can just get rebounds, like
the
Bismack Biombo
Lakers.
or something like that. If they could get those 2 pieces of Brooklyn of players like that, I
Hmm.
think they'll be fine. But I don't think they would be a threat to Boston as Boston's currently constructed. But
Hmm.
if they blow it up, I don't know what you expect to get back
Right.
if you blow it up. You're not getting the guy as young as Jalen Brown and as talented.
Hmm.
I mean, you got to worry about this money. Are you gonna put $600 million into 2 players? Do you
Hmm.
have that kind of money in Boston? Are you looking
The
at the
Lakers, the Lakers with the quick 5-0 lead, they get the fast
yo?
break.
I'm way behind you.
They get the fast break on the first play, and then Austin Reeves, not Rivers, for 3 on the second possession. but yeah, I think that's what it is. Like Boston is just, you know, they should be like we talked about this. They're constructed in a way that this era of basketball, this is how your team should be constructed. Like maybe you could have a better shooter than Marcus Smart at the point, but the way he plays defense, makes up for his lack
Yeah,
of shooting.
that's what I'm saying. You could just put him on Jimmy Butler. I think Boston is with Al Horford, his way he intelligently plays defense and
Hmm.
his timely shot making. Robert Williams with his tenacity around the rim and his energy, because I think he's only
Hmm.
6'9".
Hmm.
I think that's a good. I think that's your good defense at the rim. Tatum and Brown
Yeah.
are. I mean, like I said, they're perfect size basketball players. They play well off of each other. Doesn't seem to be a lot of ego there, or if at all. Maybe you need a little bit more edge from each one of them. Can put you over the edge to put you in situations where you're not potentially going down 2-0 at home in the Eastern
Y-
Conference Finals. But they've shown a lot of resilience. Like they've come back from 3-2. They beat Giannis down 3-2, and now the MVP Embiid. Granted, I don't think
And
he was as healthy as you
right,
need him to
right.
be.
And that's the crazy part. Like they always come back, but they put themselves in the holes, it seems like, because Tatum did this last year. He had the 46-point game in game 6 against Milwaukee. And, Middleton was out, of course, but then, they win game 7. And it's like, oh, yeah, like I've seen enough. Like this team is going to the championship. And then, of course, they meet up with the Warriors. And like, I figured the Warriors' experience would be the reason that the Warriors won. But there was a moment where I was like, before the series started, where I was like, yo, Boston might win this series.
Game 4, they could have gone up 3-1. I think it was
Yeah.
a few possessions where just Golden State, like Doc
Yeah.
Rivers said, it's a make or miss league. And I think Golden State just made a few extra plays that,
Steph Curry turned it to Stephon Curry. You know what I mean?
yeah. So that, I mean, that 43 points was huge, but it could have been 40 points and ooh, no, bad pass. It could have been 40 points and still a loss, and they're up 3-1.
7
So
nothing Lakers. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm at 1034.
Yeah, I'm at 10-18. But yeah, so but I think it is what it is. I think Boston is still going to win this series. I think they're still the better team. But now I'm not so sure if I think they're going to win the finals just because like whoever they run into, I think whoever comes through, because I think everybody from what I've been hearing just online, not necessarily on TV, but just online, everybody seems to have thought that Philly and Boston was the finals. Like whoever won that series was going to
Everyone,
win a
I never,
championship.
but
I don't understand it.
I don't know why people felt that way about Philly. But
I
it
don't
was
know
the
what I
same
mean.
thing when people in football. I had a guy tell me that the winner between San Francisco and the Eagles is going to win the Super Bowl. I was like, no.
You forgot about the real him.
like what more does one person have to do? And the same thing out west. I think you got to look at like Jokic is a 2-time MVP and his team is the number 1 seed,
Hmm.
and they play together.
Yeah.
That's very important. And same way Boston does. Miami plays with energy and they play with passion and obviously togetherness. But I think the Celtics, they never fall apart. It's just the coach does seem to make a mistake here and there, for lack of better words.
Hmm.
But speaking of
So
mistakes, how about all these teams who lost all these games hoping to get that big French dude?
you know what? Screw you, Portland, and screw you, Dallas. Hey, 2-5 daily. I talked about this the other day, but I'm gonna reiterate. Dallas still had a chance to get to the play-in. Raph was clowning me for having the hope, but the whole point that I made the other day is, which I'm gonna repeat again, is that we got a 7 seed in the conference finals and we got an 8 seed in the conference finals. So there ain't no reason for Dallas to have thrown in the towel. Portland quit with like 3 weeks left in the season. They were just like, yo, no mas. And Dame, you heard me complain about my FanDuel, and Dame and Jeremy Grant didn't even play in a game because they took too long and their flight got delayed. Screw Portland. You're at number 3 where you deserve. And I like Portland, but y'all just pissed me off. But with that being said, real quick before we hit the draft, like, so I always complain about how everybody wants the Knicks to be good. Like, am I the only one that want the Bulls to be good?
I
Like, am I the
think
only one that
people
cares about the
are
Bulls?
I think after people saw the Last Dance and the way they ran Jordan out of town, I think people are okay with the Bulls not being good because it's their own
I just
fault.
want the Bulls to win a championship without Jordan because I wasn't a Jordan fan. But anyway,
Yeah,
so Spurs with the number one draft pick. Air France coming to your boy's hometown. I will be there.
those tickets are gonna be ridiculous. I saw something today that said if Wembanyama would have, if Charlotte would have gotten the number one pick, that the Charlotte Hornets value would have gone up $500
I
million.
saw that. I saw that. You know
I'm
what?
like,
Charlotte's history tells me that if they got the number one pick, they wouldn't even have
they would
picked
trade it.
Wimbayana.
They would have traded. They would have traded. Vlade Divac. They were giving up Kobe Bryant to get Vlade Divac.
So now that we
That's a
have
real
the,
thing that happened, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if
yes,
people
it is.
knew that's
Yes.
how Kobe got to LA. They traded Vlade Divac,
Yeah.
who was probably about 40. At least he looked 40. He always looked 40. I don't know how old he was when he got the league, but he looked 40 off the plane.
Yeah.
They
So
traded him to LA for Vlade.
so the new question of the draft is who goes number two?
Number 2, Charlotte.
Yeah, I've heard,
You
so
have.
you got Brandon Miller and you got Scoot are the two people that are
I don't think you go point guard.
and well, so I was thinking about this and like I don't think it hurts to have another ball handler because but I do think that if you get Scoot, I don't know how he fits with Lamelo because Lamelo can shoot, but I don't know if Lamelo is a good
He's
enough
a he's a
shooter.
he's a point guard.
Yeah,
He's your traditional point guard with offensive flair.
yeah.
He's not your point guard. He's not your Chris Paul point guard. He's not your Mike Conley kind of point guard.
Yo, Jokic
He's
be
your
running up the court fast as shit on defense to not play no defense. But anyway, go ahead.
you gotta just make a presence. You gotta be intimidating. So you got that. Yo, he was so quick with that spin move. He was in the paint when he got the ball back. Yeah. So Charlotte. I mean, you got San Antonio taking Wembanyama. I think Charlotte would go.
Scoot.
No, I don't think so because
You don't think
you still got
Scoot?
you got Rozier still, right? Unless they're getting rid of him.
I think he's probably out of there.
But that's the problem. Everybody's out of there. That's why these teams in the NBA. That's
Everybody's
all.
out of there.
Everybody's out of there all the time, and that's something that just bothers me. And this is why these same teams are drafted at the top. Adrian Wojnarowski, Woj, he broke something. To maybe it might help the parity of the league, and maybe some of this talent was spread out. But it's going to be difficult for teams to keep 3 guys. So if you can get 3 young guys that are talented, you might not have to play against, say Dame Lillard figures out a way to get to
Utah. I mean,
Utah,
like,
or Kyrie Irving figures out a way to get to LA, or even someone like James Harden figures out a way to get to Dallas, or something along those lines, or one of these guys, one of these star free agent guys get to Phoenix because they're not going to be able to have the money to pay for all these players. So I think Charlotte, hopefully, if they make the right pick, and you just start building and let the pyramid get built. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to craft all these stones out of sand. So get the best player available. Guy's been to college. Brandon Miller, 6'9". Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just put big young bodies out there that can run. He's only 200 pounds. So you might have to bulk him up a little bit, but
you
just
know
get
what
the
kills
best player.
me? It kills me when people talk about the draft. So they were talking. I was listening to 2 people debate about Brandon Miller or Scoot at number 2, and like they're like Brandon Miller's a whole year and a half older than Scoot, and I'm like, so what? He's 21. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, you know what I mean? So, but of course the Thompson twins, have been getting some hype as well. Amin and Asur. Amin's more the playmaker. Asur's the scorer of the two. Even though Amin can score. I heard this was wild. So, they said that Amin is like high school Sean Livingston. And then they were talking about the score that Asur is, and I saw somebody compare him to John Wall, and I was just like, hold up, I don't think this means what you're saying that it means. But the draft gets real interesting at number 3. Like, What does Portland do? They're probably going to trade that pick, I'm assuming. But what can they get
Port,
back?
uh,
Because me, I came up with two people.
so Portland at 3. You want a guy out of college, Cam Whitmore out of Nova, six
I
seven,
like him a
small
lot.
forward,
Hmm.
230. That's a big body. You pair him with Jeremy Grant. Keep Dame Lillard. I don't know why everybody's trying to get Dame Lillard to
Because
Philly.
I
I'm
don't
sick
think
of
Dame
I'm
is
sick
here
of
for
all
another
these pundits.
rookie. Dame's not here for another rookie.
Dame doesn't have any choice. Yo,
Dame got a
Jokic is a
choice.
bully.
I mean, they got like they got Shaden Sharp last year. Who showed some flashes throughout the season. He played well at the end when the tank was on. But I think Dame is like, can y'all at least try or act like you're going to get me some help, or another, maybe not even a star, but like a CJ McCollum level type player. You know what I mean? We saw what happened when we had me and CJ McCollum. Let's get somebody else. So I got two people in mind.
Like I mean, like I said, I like the getting a big body in there because you have Dame as a smaller guard. He can play off the ball. He can stretch the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They have young talent. They got Anthony Simons. I'm not sure what Nurkic does. I don't know why he
He's
just
probably out of
always
there.
he's always hurt. Um, Either Portland just has to go full rebuild mode and take whatever best deal they can get for Dame. Like, yo, respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna ship you off
Mm-hmm.
to insert your favorite team into that. I don't know where you would send them. I don't know who would
They,
be able to give up the draft capital.
they can't do what the Warriors did.
And it might be
Where
2 years too late too.
they
They might have been
maybe
better off
maybe
sending him when he was before he hit 30.
they can't do what the Warriors did, where they went Wiseman and got Wiggins, but then got Moody and Kaminga as well. And they were playing both sides, like the future and right now. We're going to win another championship and we're going to have our future. Like, it usually doesn't work out that way. So I think Portland is at a place 2K style. You trade Dame and get your own team in there, like, because Portland they're not going to attract free agents. James Harden is not going to Portland. You know what I mean? For example. So you know what I mean? You got to start somewhere, and you got to hope that you can get somebody, either get somebody generational that's going to come in there and be the next generation of Portland Trailblazers, or you have to find a way to get somebody like, say, Defraud DeFrozen, or Black Brad Beal, from
Yeah, that's
you
the
know.
thing. I don't think they have the leverage to make those kind of deals because the your most valuable trade piece is in order. This number 3 pick,
Mm-hmm,
I think that's valuable.
mm-hmm,
Dame Lillard,
mm-hmm.
Jeremy Grant,
Maybe Simons, maybe
maybe
Simons.
Simons,
Yeah,
but I think
yeah,
he ended the year injured.
he did. Mm-hmm,
He did flash when Dame was out,
mm-hmm.
but you're essentially I don't know if you can play both of them on the floor at the same time
But see, I think Portland's
because I'm
stuck
not sure if
because,
they do. I don't know how they play in Portland because
well, I think
they
Simons
don't have
is.
the players that seem to fit. They like the way Boston's team is set up to be successful with just you are this size and this is what you provide for us. So
I
you are
think
this size.
Simons
I
is.
don't know if Portland does that.
I think Simons is Jordan Love status. It's like, what do we have? You know what I mean? Like, he might be our point guard of the future, but we don't know.
You, these NBA teams, you got to go young, get the right coach in there, and just make it happen. I know it sounds easier said than done, but Phoenix is a prime example of like swinging for the fences to get
Mm-hmm.
KD in there and
Mm-hmm.
depleting your team. Like
Dumb.
I'll bring up the Carmelo point.
The Knicks. Hey,
Carmelo,
I was just
the
about to
Knicks
say
and Carmelo is like
that.
he like yo they traded you in the middle of the season.
They
You
gutted their
could have just
team.
waited. You could have just waited and had Wilson Chandler and all these other role
You
players
would have had the pick of the litter, and then you could get rid
and
of
you
whoever
still would have
else.
been in New York. You could have done what
Yep.
AD did.
And
Basically, you
maybe
play
you win
20
another
minutes a
playoff
game,
series.
you sit on the bench, and then you go to New York, you get whatever check you can get, and you still have your supporting
And
cast.
and then you got word on the street that at number 4, the Houston Rockets may trade Jalen Green. And I guess if they would do that, it's under the guise that they think James Harden is coming.
But once again,
But
what does
but
that
why?
do? What does that do for either party?
It does nothing. All it does is get James Harden the ability to average 30 again. And,
But that's the thing. He can't do it. He had plenty of games without Embiid. What's his numbers when Embiid didn't play? Embiid missed
I don't
about
know, but he
17,
had
18 games.
45 in game one against Boston, and
Game one.
he did another
Game one.
he had another good game. I think he had another 40 point or like a 30 point game in game five.
He
When they went up
averaged
3-2.
he averaged like 9 points in the last like two games. He got 9 points in game seven. So I don't care what you did in game one. Those points don't transfer over. You got me 9 points. And that's the thing. He it just might not be, and everybody doesn't get deep playoff runs. T Mac didn't get one except when he signed with the Spurs.
No, he didn't get one. They
He
signed
didn't get a
him.
good.
No,
Yeah,
they
signed him
signed
late,
him late. Like yeah,
so he never had a
they were
long playoff
already in
run.
the. I think they were already like in the conference finals when they signed him.
Yeah, so he didn't get. He's never got a long playoff run. Excuse me.
Yeah, so
Carmelo's
Houston,
never had a long one, so it's like some people it just might not be in their cards.
yeah, Houston. If Houston trades Jalen Green, you heard it here first. Sports Reports is ordered. They're idiots. Then at number 5, you got one of the teams that I wanted to get the number 1 draft pick, Detroit, the Pistons. They got some stuff going on there, some young talent. So I would have liked to see Wimbenyama with Cade Cunningham. Jaden Ivey. They got Duren. They got um, they picked up Wiseman from Golden State.
I don't know
They got
how
one
they.
of the.
I don't know how they ended up fifth.
I know they got one of the Bobans or one of the Bodanoviches. They got one of them. So Detroit has some talent that I
And
think
I know Detroit has cap money,
they do
but
have cap money. Yep.
they have cap money. But
And Detroit,
do you have enough on your team with Jaden Ivey, Kay Cunningham, Wiseman? The last big contract he signed, Jeremy Grant, he's already in Portland. You signed Blake Griffin before that. He was shipped out and bought out pretty quickly to get to Brooklyn. Are you
yeah,
managed properly?
Detroit, they're another team that I would like to see come back. I haven't been to Detroit, but I'm very fond of the city, so I would like Detroit to get back in the mix. Then at number 6, you got Orlando, the first of 2 picks. They have number 6 and number 11. So I'm thinking package number 6, maybe Jalen Suggs or one of your young players that has been somewhat disappointing, and you get something back, like not necessarily a star, but you just get a solid piece that can come back and start. Because you got the front court, you got Wendell Carter, you got Paulo Banchero, you got the Wagner. So you know what I mean? Like the front court is set. I think they just need a guard that can shoot
I'm
to unlock
calling
this.
Utah and I'm trading the Jalen Suggs to Utah for Danny Ainge. Come work in my front office.
That's different.
Help us out. I mean, like obviously you can't do that, but it just you're you have so many of these draft picks. Jalen Suggs. You have they had what you said Wagner. It's like, do you have the right coach? Do you have the right philosophy, or was everybody tanking for this number 1 pick and didn't
I mean,
didn't bother to develop
they
their
they
young
finished
players?
they finished pretty close to the play-in.
Well, everyone's closer to playing in the East.
No, well, Charlotte wasn't.
20, 20 teams make the playoffs, but I mean, like, is it better off for you as a team to just try to win and develop your players and not worry about the following year's draft? Because Wembanyama is going to go to San Antonio. Who are you pairing him with?
Keldon Johnson.
Okay, so they're going to go 22 and 60. It's like it's not just about just getting the right pick; it's about getting the right fit.
Right.
But if you get these young guys, you just got to play them. You got to play them. You got to put them out there, and they got to learn. So, yep. I mean, you're at 6. Can you package together and maybe get the 3? Because Portland's like we don't have anybody here, but does Portland say, yeah, let's get the 3rd best player in the draft or the best player available at that point, and maybe use him. Portland, you draft Scoot Henderson, and you talk to Phoenix about maybe getting DeAndre Ayton out of there. You make a move like that because there's only a few players that we've seen throughout the playoff run that are going to be valuable
Mhm.
pieces that are going to move.
Yeah.
Aiton, Chris Paul I mean, he's another year older and he keeps getting soft tissue injuries. I don't
Mhm.
think they heal the same. Like, I hurt my back making my bed like a month ago. I was at the chiropractor last week. So it's like I had to fit his sheet and I was yanked up on the mattress because my bed's in a corner. So I had to yank up on the mattress. So yeah, I'm
Okay,
that
okay.
old. I'm that old. Chris Paul and I could have been in high school together. So he's not that much younger than I am.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure that groin injury is gonna
and
hurt him
then
until July.
yeah,
So it's not a lot of pieces that you can move.
Tyrese Halliburton didn't look too thrilled with Indiana having the number 7 pick.
Well, I mean, he's gonna get traded anyway.
Oh, is
So
he?
that's what Indiana does. Indiana just, oh, you getting kind of good.
Oh, the
Let's
Lakers
trade
gonna
you.
get Buddy Hield?
Oh, remember that talk? That talk. It was incendiary and
So they
infuriating how
got they
much
got
people
to
were
do
talking
something
about
with
that.
Miles Turner though. Like he's got the whole like John Collins thing going on. He on the trade block every year. Don't end up nowhere. Nobody makes the call. Like they got to do something. Like
But
Indiana.
Jalen Brown in Boston, he's always mixed in because there's only a select. There's a lot of players out there, but you everybody wants to make this best killer deal. But most times teams end up making deals like the Rudy Gobert deal, where one player moves, a bunch of names and picks moves the other way, and it doesn't really add that much value to the other team.
Mhm.
Because the Lakers can talk all they want about their trade pickups. Austin Reeves is already on the team. Schroeder was already on the team. He could have signed his deal last year.
Mhm.
The Browns on the team. AD was on the team. Yeah, Vanderbilt came in and give you a little spark, but Beasley hasn't done much.
No, he was
You
the one
know,
that I liked in the trade besides Vanderbilt.
Russell's done his thing, but I mean, you could have kept KCP instead of trading Russell Westbrook and gotten the same production. So I think people are just kind of enamored with the idea of trades. That could trades make you better? For the most
Mhm.
part, we haven't really seen one really be that impactful. Most
So
free
then
agent moves work, but that's about it.
so then you got the Washington Bullets at number 8. I know
Bradley
I
Bill is
said
just going to sit there and just keep collecting checks. Two forty
Get
five
Black
a year.
Brad out of here. Get him out of here.
He's not going nowhere.
Get him. They should have just never paid him last year. That's what they should have
Listen,
did.
man, you only going to sell 9 or 10,000. Nine,
To go draft Johnny Davis.
you go get 9 to 11.
I'm better than Johnny Davis.
You're gonna get like 9 to 11,000 tickets sold. So they gotta watch. Excuse me, they gotta watch somebody. So
You know, yeah, because the Wizards have a decision to make. What do you do with Kuzma? Because he's
you
coming
pay
due
them.
a big payday.
You pay them.
You got big KP. Porzingis. So is that just your big three of the future? I guess
I mean,
Brad got to
no,
go.
no. Right
Portland, call
now,
me with number 3.
you're not. Who's making that deal? That's what I'm saying. Like most of the stars in the league, if the star is 28 or under, the only reason he would be on the move is because there's a problem with him and his current team.
There is a problem with him.
Most
He's always hurt and he's not that good.
most of your stars are 30 and up. So
Mhm.
am I giving up any of my young players for Dame Lillard to get him to my team? Am I giving up Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, and 4 future first round
Are
picks
you are you
to
giving up
Portland for Dame Lillard?
are
No.
you giving up Jalen Brown?
I'm not giving up Jalen Brown. I'm not trading Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum. I'm not breaking that up because I have an organic duo.
Mhm. I heard something side note. I heard something funny today is somebody suggested that Chris Paul go back to the Clippers.
I heard that same thing, but I'm like,
Just another broke body.
I think I think Chris Paul realistically should retire.
Yes, he needs to go home, be a family man. You know what I mean? Be like some kind of front office dude for somebody at some point.
Yeah,
Maybe be a
he
coach at
was.
some
I
point.
know he was an NBA PA president. I just think it's just realistically, if you want a championship, if that's your goal, then you have to expect to play from October until June.
Hmm.
depends on what team you go to. What we got here? Oh, that's a good block. His inside of his arm hit his face. Is good. Don't be reviewing that. Oh, they're reviewing it. I'm so sick of it.
You know they reviewed it.
Uh,
This is the new NBA that y'all love. You
like
know,
he went up, got a good block. He didn't hit him in the head. So yeah, like I mean, you're gonna have to build your team through the draft because there's only so much money you're gonna keep paying to Kevin Durant. There's only so much money you're gonna keep paying for Kyrie. There's only so much money you're gonna pay for Dame and Russ and all those other guys. They are 31, 32, 33. Steph Curry is 35. Even
yes,
if
he
he's on a
is.
trading block, it's like, what are you gonna trade for a 35-year-old guy and pay him for 3 years and
Just
think
depends
you're
on
gonna
who
pay
you
him
are.
and you gotta pay him 35 million at least. You gotta pay
Hey,
him at least.
Steph still.
James
If you're
Harden
right
declined his
on the brink,
$35.6 million. His
yeah.
his player option was $35.6 million. You denied 35.6 because you want more than 35.6.
So who got
Who's gonna give him 35.6?
I don't know, but so who's got number 9? Raph.
Good
Them
old
Jazz.
Utah. They're gonna go out
Yeah.
there, pick a nice solid player, probably from somewhere like Finland or Slovenia, something like that. Oh, of course they got him the
Well,
free throws.
they need a little bit of everything. So I think any pick, there's no pick that's off limits for the Jazz.
Yeah, and I think they'll get some nice guy. They'll probably get you know, Utah's good for drafting white guys. It's just good for their demographic. So this guy Grady Dick, they might make him change his last name because he's going to Utah or go by a different
Hey,
name.
that could be a solid pickup for the Jazz. That could be a
That's
solid
a
pickup.
terrible flagrant foul call because he
I
got the
agree.
ball.
I
He
agree.
stuck his arm out, got the ball, and got his arm.
But we got
Like,
a game. It's currently 25-23 Denver with 2:14 left in the first quarter to Raph's surprise. But I like Grady Dick there. I don't know if he necessarily goes that high. I like Jordan Hawkins, from UConn, the shooter. I like Anthony Black from Arkansas to Utah. So, I think Utah, no pick is off limits for them. I think that they
yeah,
could do a
I
lot of
think
different
Grady
things
Dick going 9 makes sense because
because he's white
something that's
and it's Utah.
white is Utah or somebody foreign or Danny Ainge knowing Danny Ainge, he'll fleece it in and he'll trade back to
I don't know.
14.
What D Wade gonna say about that?
D, D Wade already did his D when he hooked LeBron up with all those extra players, took on Russell's contract and then bought it out.
Then you got Raph brought up Kyrie Irving. You got the Mavs, the other ignorant, disgusting tanker at number 10. Is
My
Kyrie
thing
coming
is like,
back?
what were you expecting to get? Like, okay, so you had to give up the draft pick if you would have made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are you getting by keeping the pick? At least if you made the playoffs, you could sell out 3 or 4 more home games, get a
Mm-hmm.
few more $1 million if that's the case. But I mean, what are you going to get? Like one of these big power forwards
Mm-hmm.
that's in college probably average 10, 12 points a game. Like, what are you going to get? You got a guy average 11 points a game.
Yeah, it's not high enough for them to move it, probably.
Yeah, so it's I think we're gonna see a lot of picks. I know a lot of these G leagues and the overtime elite league. The knock on them is something I heard about the Thompson twins. Like, they're 21 years old playing against 18 and 19-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So is it just are you good or do you look good because you're playing against, I won't say inferior competition, but
But
less mature
people that you
competition.
should be better than.
Yeah, less mature competition, and you've been playing in these travel leagues and these things for so many years. Overtime league started out as a website. Good pass, and they got enough money. D'Angelo Russell did something weird, and that's why you chuckling.
Ooh, that might have been clean. I don't know. I got to see that replay again.
All right, I'm at
I'm
121.
at
So
9.6.
all right, go ahead.
All right, so I'll chill for a minute. But yeah, so like, is Kyrie coming back? I mean, that's the number one question. Christian, maybe you could get a sign and trade with somebody, to get a better fitting piece. Christian Wood is out of there, I'm guessing. You know,
See, that's
um,
and that's the thing is like why? Like, why are they consistently just letting players go? Like, develop these players, try to make it work. Tell Luca to pass the ball with 14 seconds left in the shot clock and don't dribble it down to 7, or have Luca play off the ball. Like there's so many things that these playoff teams are doing. Most of these playoff teams have 1 or 2 stars. The
What's
team that
up?
had 3 stars in Phoenix didn't make it because they didn't have
Well,
a bench.
what's up with Junior? Tim Hardaway Jr.
It's probably sick of being on the trading block
Yeah.
or always probably being mentioned in a trade. But he's one of those, like, he's a
So
role,
so
like, a
so
lot
do
of
you
these guys
think
are role players. You
so
just
do
you
you
keep
think Dallas is an option to move up?
I, I don't, unless you can package it, because I don't know if any, like, I don't think I don't know how deep this draft is as far as NBA circles. I don't know if they look at it like, yo, I got this
I
many
think I think
players.
they think that it's about a 3 or 4 player draft so
That's
far.
clean. That's
Yeah,
clean.
that's what I thought. I thought it was clean too, but they didn't give it to him.
He didn't
Um,
challenge it.
no, but I think that yeah, I thought it was clean. That's what I was talking about when I said that was
Yeah,
clean. But
yeah.
yeah, so at the end of the first quarter, 27-27, Jokic with 9, 2, and 2. So definitely not 12 rebounds. Jamal Murray with 8 points on 2 of 6 shooting. For the Lakers, Austin Reeves, 7 points, 2 of 6 from the floor. D'Angelo Russell came through with 6 points in the first quarter, so maybe he can play a little bit. Anthony Davis with 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. LeBron James, because I know y'all want to know what he did. 2 points, 3 boards, and 1 assist. So let me stop that. But then you got Orlando at 11 again. You know what I mean? So I was thinking package the first one, maybe keep this one. But if I'm Orlando, I might even explore trading both of these picks because you need to get a veteran in there now.
I don't think a veteran does you any good though.
It just depends on who the veteran is. I'm not saying go get Bruce Brown or something like that. You know what I mean?
I would say stick with get your young
Trust the
team together,
process.
trust the process, but without tanking. Just without taking, like, you have 2 picks in the top 12.
Yeah.
It's a potential that you can move up because I think there's a couple of teams. So you from 6 to 3, I think is a possibility, and then from 11 to
Ooh.
7, 11 to 8 is also a possibility. So you can potentially end up with 2 of the top 8 players in this draft
Yo, go ahead and
by moving a couple of pieces you have that you feel don't haven't
trade
worked out.
Suggs. Trade Suggs is something else and get Jalen Green if he's on the board.
I mean, I don't know why, unless he's just because I heard John Wall in interviews on a podcast and he was talking about how he was saying that he was try to school the young guys on Houston. He was like, listen, man, y'all can't behave like this if y'all on a different team. He didn't really get in the details. He just was like, yo, if you on a different team, you be cut, that
Mm-hmm.
behavior. So maybe it's like a maturity piece in the locker room.
Well, they had a young coach too, so
Completely over his head coach too.
yeah. So now
And
they got a coach that's been to the finals, so you gotta respect
coach
him.
has been in the finals. You got to respect him.
And he like 6 something, 6'8" or something, so he'll whoop your
Yeah,
ass
he a
too.
big dude. Yeah, so like you won't be able to come in there with your shiny belts.
Yeah, keep
And
keep keep doing your shit, Kevin Porter Jr.
yeah, so
Say
like
see
you
what
might get
Ime
slapped
does
in
to you.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
so I think that's a benefit too
and he
because
might
they
take your
have
girl.
that.
Yeah.
He definitely will knock down your girl like
And then you
no
got
problem.
OKC at 12. Like, if I'm OKC, I might try to trade somebody. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, you don't need another
I'd move out
rookie.
of 12.
And
Yeah,
you
you don't
got
need another rookie, and you bring him Chet back.
yeah,
You
you bring a
got
check
KD.
back.
You
You
got
know,
SGA,
hey,
all
so
NBA.
that's the new battle, right? You got Magic Bird, you got Braun and Melo. Now you got Wembenyama and Holmgren. You know what I'm saying? This is the new rivalry.
Both of them combined weigh
It's like,
about 200 or
hey, but
probably
they like
about
15 feet tall.
390.
You know what I'm saying?
They
Like,
probably 15 feet tall, 390 pounds.
Wembayama is taller than
Skinniest
me,
giant
you know what I'm
ever.
saying? Like, so, like this is wild. But yeah, if I'm OKC, I don't need another rookie. Like, for what? Like, now, I mean, I don't know what you could get for the number 12 pick nowadays, but somebody like Chicago might want to move up or something, or because, they were in the lottery, but because of the Vucevic trade, That's why Orlando ended up with number 11. So
I think
maybe
you can move. Orlando can move a guy like Bol. I think OKC could move one of those guys that's kind of like just kind of holding up a spot on your bench.
yeah.
I think you can move one of those guys. But I think you're good. They might be one of those teams that could bring in a vet.
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what role, a vet off the, second unit. But
Yeah.
like I said, most after a certain amount of picks, man, the talent's gone. Like the top, franchise changing talent is already gone. They're
Hmm.
all developmental after 10. So are you in the mode of development, or are you trying to get, you're
Well, I
trying to get
mean,
into the play-in next year? You
I
trying to get
mean,
the 41,
you
42
were in the
wins?
play
You're
in
in the
this
thick of
year.
it.
You're
Yeah.
going to go for the 6 seed.
Yeah.
Go for the 5 seed.
So can you move? I mean,
Like you're going to keep SGA. You're going to keep Giddy. You're going to keep Jalen Williams. You know what I mean? Like
like
you're
this
going to keep.
Polskeski guy or whoever, because
Yeah,
he's like a
maybe you.
7 foot guy.
Hey,
You can move
send
him.
him down here to play with Wimby. You know what I'm saying? Air
I mean,
France.
it might be one of those things, or one of these Williams guys, Jalen with the E or Jalen with the I.
Nah, keep. I don't know which one is which, but keep Jalen with the hair.
They both got the hair.
Nah, but he got the weird ass
The
hair.
dark
Like
skin one, the
he's got
dark skin
the
one, or light skin
yeah,
one.
the dark skin one. He got the 1980s hair.
Oh,
You know what
the
I'm
the
saying?
light skin one's hair is just as chaotic.
He got like the Richard Pryor, like, before he, like, blow dried it or something. Then
Yeah.
you got
So
Toronto at 13. Like Toronto needs to make some moves probably. Like I thought Van Vliet, for example, like I think that's a move that Phoenix should explore potentially. Like I don't, don't do the James Harden thing, but they could get like a Van Vliet. He could be your Chris Paul replacement. Still plays gritty defense. Like can shoot a little bit. Um, what do you do? Like you got Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and OG Anunoby, which are basically a bunch of long arm freaks that I just don't think fit very well together overall. So like one of the three got to go, and it ain't Scotty Barnes since he's the
or
youngest one.
you just change up the role, because these
Well,
these
they tried to
NBA
trade
players.
Anunoby. They tried to trade Anunoby at the deadline. Memphis almost had a deal for him.
Not, I think you change up their role on the team. You keep the length, and you just say, okay, listen, I need you to be more of a scorer. Or I know people around the league, they're always big on Siakam. A lot of teams really big on foreign players, especially African players. I know a lot of people, they like the work ethic and everything else. So
Mm-hmm.
he might be a piece you could move. He might be a piece you can move to a team, say like, I don't know what Phoenix has for assets. I don't know what they could give you. Probably not much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Philly is looking to maybe pair and be another guy like that, and just give the team over to Embiid and Maxi. Maybe they can move Tobias Harris. You get your offensive guy in Orange and be your young gun. I don't know if you really want to trade in conference, not necessarily in division, but
I mean, at
I
this
just
stage, I don't think it matters because they're not contending anyway.
yeah, you're not contending, so just go young. Like all these teams that are already young in the top 10, just try to get the most talent you can get, pairing with the right kind of coach,
Mm-hmm.
and press forward. Like these guys you drafted in the top 5 and 6 over the last few years, you draft them that high for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So give an opportunity. If you got to move a couple of guys out to lessen the intimidation, maybe you have, like you got, for example, in Orlando, you got Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony. Maybe you move one of those guys and say, hey, this is you now. You move one of those guys and you get a role player that comes off the bench that doesn't compete with them for minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of give them that confidence boost.
Yeah.
Houston, you got like Houston, like those kind of moves. You got Toronto. Toronto was just one of those teams that you had a good run. You fired your coach. I think now that the draft is laid out, I'm not sure any of these other teams, like a team without a coach, needed that first pick.
Yeah. Now they just extended Pop by like 10 years.
Yeah, so he and then Papa's gonna be like, all right, cool, we're gonna run this. We run it for Wimbyama. They might even
Mhm.
give him 21. Nah, they're not gonna do that.
And then to finish it all off, you got the Pels. Like, so I was thinking
Trade
that the,
Zion Williamson. Someone's gonna jump. If you can trade him legally with the contract, trade him, move him, get some pieces.
get
He
them
is literally
America, get
he's
them
literally
America.
going to just sit on your bench and steal your money.
I was thinking that they could be another. I mean, you can't have this many trades, I guess, but I don't really think they need to pick either.
No, they don't. They could make a pick there if they want, but I say for the sake of your team, I'd package that pick and Zion Williamson, and I'd call Houston to get a couple of their players.
Hmm, that would be interesting. I mean, I guess like if the Pelicans do have to draft somebody, I guess I like Keontae George out of Kansas State. Like that would probably be the move. A shooter, a good guard. Starting two guard probably. That'll solidify and finish your starting lineup probably. So I guess that could be the one move that, or if Jordan Hawkins is still there, maybe you grab him. But I think that they don't necessarily need the pick.
You know what's going to happen with all these teams that don't really need the pick? They're going to get some foreign player and just put them on ice for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to what San Antonio did for years. I think who else? San Antonio was they were like the masters of doing that, keeping the
Yeah.
guy on ice for a couple of years. I think Dallas did it a couple of times. Every team that had a little bit of success with a foreign-born player, they were drafting guys and putting them on ice, never get them to the league. So I think that kind of is probably going to be the case because most of these teams, without the bargaining agreement, without the salary cap, is going to be the same teams at the top.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have Phoenix. Phoenix gonna have to fill out their roster somehow. So DeAndre Ayton on the move is gonna hook them up. Like I think if they honestly sit down and say, "Yo," unless you think you can make it work with that big three, I don't know how the money works,
Mm-hmm.
but if you think you can make it work, because they play it, that was a wide open lane. Oh wow, that was you chuckling that when LeBron blew that layup.
Mm-hmm. No, no,
You
that wasn't
trap.
what I was chuckling about. I was chuckling. I don't even remember what I was chuckling about. Oh, I was chuckling about the shot Jokic hit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how does he do this? Like, it makes no sense at all. Like, every shot that he takes makes no sense.
I think
But
that's the part that makes it
I
make
don't even
sense.
think I saw LeBron. I didn't even see that until they just now showed the replay. I didn't even notice that in real time. Like, I was sitting up here actually focusing on what you were saying, like I'm supposed to.
Yeah, I have. Listen, I got the iPad right here. Like I said, get the sound down.
Yeah.
Like I said, these teams, the NBA, they have their draft lottery set up to where a team can go from worst to first or terrible to competitive, but they are they for some reason teams are impatient and they
When
fire
Detroit
coaches too
going to
quick.
hire a coach?
Well, they probably were holding out to get the number one pick, and then that way they could use that as leverage for whatever coach they wanted. Now they're just going to have to hire some assistant.
Shit. When the
Some
Wizards going
assistant.
to when the Wizards going to get a GM?
I mean, we can apply for it. I'm pretty sure you can go to Indeed or
No, they don't
something
want
and
me
apply
because I
for a
already
job.
made it known that I'm trying to trade Brad, so they don't want me.
Listen, I called Philly today and was like, listen, I'm trading in B, so go ahead and give me that job. And they were like, yeah, get off my phone.
Yeah,
But
you know
yeah,
what
I
I'm
would I
saying?
would trade in B. But that's just my personal opinion because I just think like you can stay relevant with some of these players, but you need a team in order to have this sustained run.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
So,
Denver.
mm-hmm. 40 to
Oh, he missed two layups.
yeah. Oh, that was the second one I must have saw. Then I still didn't see the
Yeah,
first one. Then so yeah, saying LeBron at old age catches up at some point, but
he
but
was.
yeah,
He
but
looks
but
so unnecessary.
but
That's
when
my
you talk
team though.
about old age, it makes me wonder how much Vasily Lomachenko has left in his tank. You know, we got the big fight this weekend. I'm still waiting on Crawford and Spence. Still waiting on it. I better hear something shortly about tanking Shakur or like, after Haney wins this fight, there's my pick. After Haney wins this fight, I better hear something about tanking Haney. But as it is, I think Lomachenko's fighting for his career right here. I think that if he loses this fight, I think the retirement talk is going to start creeping in. Like I didn't even know. I saw his total record, like the 413-3 with all the amateur fights. I didn't realize he had that many miles on his body,
That's a
but
lot of punches.
that's a lot. And and I was reading this Devin Haney, apparently he wanted this smoke for like the last 3 or 4 years. He called out Loma and he felt Loma has been ducking him. So, he's definitely coming out to make a point, I believe. But I think
Yeah,
it
that
goes,
doesn't do a boxer any good to duck a guy.
yeah, I think it goes
It doesn't.
decision. I think it goes decision.
Nah.
I think that Haney is gonna. I think he's gonna dominate mostly, but the scorecard will look a lot closer than the fight actually might be.
Well, boxing scorecards always look weird because it's like these 10-9 rounds, and every once in a while they give a guy a round because he was more active. But boxers hit a wall, and it's abrupt.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you see it like live. Even Muhammad Ali, like they hit the wall in the fight,
Mm-hmm.
and it could be body shots. Or we saw with Garcia Davis. Once he caught that left hook in the second round, it was like, oh,
Like, okay, nothing to
fight,
see
you
here,
fighting,
folks.
fighting. Yeah, you fighting,
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah,
So
yeah.
then he caught that liver hook, and everyone was saying like, "Yo, he could have stood up." In my mind, I was like, if you can look up, I mean, can you stand up? Because people are scientifically breaking down like how like the liver and the acid comes from the
Mhm.
liver, and like you want to move but you
I
can't.
loved all that, by the way.
All that, yeah. And it's like, yo, just get up.
Well, it
But
reminded
he,
me of. I brought this up last time, and I got to do it again. But it reminded me of Bernard Hopkins and De La
Trinidad
Hoya.
or
Yeah,
De La
no, De La
Hoya.
Hoya. Yeah, yeah. When he hit him in the body punch, and then they said, "Did you know that it was over?" And he said, "Yeah, because when I hit him, I just heard him go, ooh," like, you know.
Yeah.
And Tank probably had that same feeling. Like when he landed that shot, he was like, "Oh yeah, like
Oh yeah, he's
we're
like,
done
that's the
here."
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the Lomachenko Haney fight, like I said, especially if it's 3-4 years, past its expected date.
Mhm.
I think Haney being young, I mean, so many belts. It's just, I think
So
it's like it might be one of those kind of like that the Pacquiao Mayweather situation where we wanted the fight in 2010, but we got it in 2015. So we're gonna watch it, and one guy will show his superior boxing talent over the other.
mhm. Well, I think
And
like when Lomachenko lost to Teofimo Lopez, um, I think the big difference there was the like how Lopez was able to use his reach. He had about a 3-inch reach on Lomachenko that bothered him. So when I was looking at the stats for this fight, it was wild to me because Haney is only an inch taller. He's
yeah,
5'8", Loma's 5'7", but he has a 6.5-inch reach.
yeah, some of man, like I said, I'm only 5'9", but my wingspan's like 6 feet.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I have super ridiculously long arms because I have like big feet, whatever. So, you got a lot of boxers who have that advantage of the shorter guys with the reach
Mhm.
advantage.
And I
Got
think I
guys like
think that's what
Mayweather with the
hurts.
speed advantage.
And I think
11
that I
years
think that's what
older.
hurts. Yeah, I think that's what hurts Loma is the age difference with that reach.
The reach, the age different, over 400 fights. That means for over 400 fights, that means you're sparring, training, hitting, punching for 35 years. I know a lot of these, Eastern Bloc guys, these Soviets and Ukrainian guys and former Soviet Union guys, they're tougher than nails. We talked about, guys from Slovenia and Serbia, and just
Hmm.
they're all over the NBA, and a lot of them are, dominate a lot of these physical sports. But ultimately, that takes a toll on you when you just get a young guy that's young guy from Cali just working you over,
Yeah.
especially when you 11 years 11 years that's substantial, and he already has two losses, 19 fights, 17-2. So yeah, you saying decision, I'm gonna say seventh round.
Ooh,
I
you
think it's
got
I
Loma
think it's
going down.
yeah, yeah, 4-7.
Ooh.
Like I said, boxers hit a wall because
Yeah.
it's so mental, and like I said, these uh, former Soviet Union, Eastern Bloc countries. These guys are known for being tough as nails.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that comes with it. When I was stationed in Europe, they would tell you like, listen, don't mess with these Russian guys. Don't mess with the Turkish guys because it's like 20 of them. You got to fight all of them. Don't mess with the Russian guys because you can hit him with an ashtray and he's not gonna fall. So you just learn. You learn. I knew some dudes went to Slovakia, got into it, and the dude was like, "Man, he was beating me so bad, my contacts fell out. All I do was I just crawled up under the table and held onto the
Yeah.
table so dude couldn't punch me."
Yo, there's
So
nothing there's nothing more entertaining in sports than when LeBron doesn't get a call. That hands on the, like yeah,
I love it because he does get hit, but he probably gets hit every time, and it's like, dog, we can't call 50 fouls.
but yeah, yeah, I think, so yeah, um, when Haney fought Cambosos, both times, I thought that he should have knocked him out and he didn't. So, I think that Loma has a tough enough chin that I think he'll hold out. Like I said, I think that Haney will. I don't want to say dominate. I mean, I said it earlier. That sounds a little disrespectful. I don't know if it'll be dominant, but it will be known that Haney won that fight, and it probably was never in doubt. But I'm hoping for Loma. I like Loma. You know what I mean? Like, now that I've gotten a little older, sometimes I want to see these old guys. Like just but
Well,
this ain't the one.
yeah, this is not the sport for that. Like, I want Tiger Woods to just come out and win a major every once in a while, even though all the other guys are
Oh, here's
younger and not injured. But
yeah, and here's the quote for you. Like you can't have boxing without a quote. So here's the quote. He made me wait 4 years to fight. I was 20 years old, so I don't like Loma. I want to beat him bad. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
that's so tough.
Yeah, there's your quote right there. You can't have a boxing talk without a quote. So, so yeah, like I said, he's been waiting on this fight. This is a chance for him. This if he beats Loma,
That is
it
a
it,
foul.
it will easy. It was, but you see the reaction though. I love it.
Yeah,
But this will definitely if he beats Loma. I don't care how old Loma is. If Haney wins this fight, it'll be probably easily the best win that he's had in his career. So now it's time to use Loma to get up the ladder. Like now, I mean, Haney's near the top of the game, but now, Tank is out there, Shakur is out there. Like
yeah.
y'all just got to have a triangle. Like I wish there was a way that we could have a triple threat boxing match and just have all three of them fight each other at the same time.
I think what you can get you boxing because right now, like it's hot. It's a perfect time of year for these fights to be happening, and then I think most boxers go about 7 months in
Yeah,
between fights. So you got Haney, he wins now. You can get Haney Davis in December, or maybe you get Garcia Stevenson in November, and then you get the winner of Davis Haney next May.
give me all that, but they're probably going to make a trilogy out of one, whichever one it is. There's probably going to be a trilogy attached.
Well, I don't think, and I think the way that Ryan Garcia got knocked out, it kind of takes away the allure
Mm-hmm.
of this fight because it's like, I mean,
Well, that's where
you
that's where
want the
Ryan.
rematch with you want a rematch. Anytime you get a big fight, you want a
Right,
rematch.
right.
But this is gonna look like two. This I think, like I said, I think Haney's gonna win this fight easily.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And unless they straight up go, all right, Davis is gonna fight Haney in December for some belts, and Shakur Stevenson like, all right, bet I'm gonna get the winner of that. Now you have people talking about, now you have the buzz going because we've had the buzz for Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Like
Even
Wilder and Joshua was supposed to fight like
Years ago.
Yeah, like that was supposed to be like way in the past, like around when Floyd and Pacquiao was fighting.
I think I deployed. The last time I deployed was like 2018, 2019. That was on the books. Then I was having a conversation with a guy when I was getting my stuff together to deploy.
Yeah.
And that was, so now it's 2023.
And I don't want to see it no more. You know what I'm saying? But
if it popped
up, if I get it, I'm gonna watch it. But you know what I mean?
Gonna watch it.
But Ryan Garcia,
they created that buzz.
I want double main event. You know what I mean? Like you go WrestleMania, you're saying you got the double main event. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, son. We need to be promoters.
That's
killer.
Give me Garcia calling out somebody, Haney or Stevenson. You know what I mean? Or get a rematch with Tank. And then have Haney and Stevenson. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what you're going to do with the money. I don't know which match goes last. I guess it would be Haney and Stevenson since they would be the two donuts.
You just charge $119 for the pay-per-view.
Yo, like that's what I'm saying. Give me a double main event. Or, we could do double divisions. It don't even got to be that division. You know what I mean? Give me Haney and Stevenson over here and give me Fury and somebody else over here. Double main event, baby. It's the wave of the future.
Do something. UFC's killing it.
Yeah, boxing isn't like so. At it, like UFC always has double main events. You know what I mean? And then UFC, like, if a UFC card has 6 fights, you probably have the 2 really big fights, and there's always a fight that stands out or like that you didn't expect that's gonna take over and be the best fight.
Some guys who had bad blood since training camp, 7 years, when they were wrestling in Iowa together, and now they want to fight.
Yeah, give me the double main event. Give me the double main event. You know what I mean? Like, give me. So you probably can't do that with people like Canelo, I guess. Like he probably can't do the double main event thing because
everybody wants to command all the money.
Yeah, he's a shadow over. He would be a shadow over those conversations that you can't do it with. But with these 4 guys, we want to see him fight. I think you can do that. Like you can't do it with Spence and Crawford. Just because we want that fight so bad and.
How come they haven't made that fight yet?
Money.
How much money do you think they're gonna get?
Well, Spence, is I hate this term, but I'm gonna say it anyway just to make my point. But Spence is the A side. You know what I mean? I hate that A side, B side thing. But he's the A side. Like he's the name. He's fought against bigger fighters,
53%, 47%. Let's make this fight happen.
I think he wants 60-40 from the initial talks. I don't know what's going on today, but but at the time that the initial talks was going on, that was the argument. I'm the A side. Like, we can't split nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and
you gotta split it. Like, no one knows who you are. Like, you can front like, you're good in boxing circles. Mike Tyson can't go anywhere without getting mauled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even Ryan Garcia can go places. Errol Spence and Terrence, you guys could walk through a Vegas casino on fight night weekend without your entourage. People would notice. Like, let's keep it 100. It's like the whole Mike Trout, Shea Otani. You'd recognize.
Still don't know what he looks like.
5'6", Japanese guy. Like, okay, that stands out. Mike Trout, simple. You're running the little guys.
I feel so ashamed of myself.
The Charlo twins, like, I mean, these guys can make fights, and for some reason, just like ego, won't allow it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look at Roy and Bernard. We talk about it all the time. 60-40, I'll whoop your ass.
Whoop your ass.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, by the time we did get the fight, nobody wanted it.
Yeah, and back then, boxing had that kind of leverage because they were only game that we could watch. They were the only fight game. We didn't have USC.
And Denver has cut the lead down to 1. But go ahead.
Yeah, we didn't have, this, like Ronda Rousey headlined UFC fights because Dana White was like, yo, this is popping. This is what I'm doing. So then after Ronda Rousey lost, Holly Holm headlined UFC to
Amanda Nunes.
Amanda Nunes, after she knocked Ronda Rousey out, she headlined another one. And then she headlined with Cyborg. Cyborg probably didn't deserve a title shot, but they knew her name was damn Cyborg. I can spot her out right now. She's, because her face is it's a little, tough to look at. I'm not going to front. It's a little strong. So, like, okay, I can recognize her. They made that a headline fight, or at least a co-main event.
Right.
He took advantage of the time. Now he's not paying his fighters, and he's kind of losing it.
Right, and that's where boxing is. Like, I mean, and it goes back. We probably won't see a double main event. because of that. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to go last? Who's going to do all the, that's going to be the argument. So it would never happen. But I think
Start your
that,
own promotion company. Get yourself paid as a promoter and get yourself paid as a fighter, a la Floyd Mayweather. The
mhm.
evidence is out there. Like, just get. I'm just get. You can get this done and get paid. Floyd Mayweather fights every once in a while, still
Hey,
$100 million.
so remember when I said, are the Lakers going to shoot 45% from three again? I mean,
They're at 20%.
they're and they've just missed their last 10 shots in a row. You know what I mean? So Denver cut the 12-point lead down. So right now, I'm gonna give you my TV in a second, so I can tell you what the
I'm at
time is.
two. I'm
I'm
at
at
two fifty
so
six.
I'm at 204, and the Lakers have not scored a field goal since 704. But anyway, so yeah, but like I was saying, I think this would be the most impressive win of Haney's career, because I'm not so impressed with the list of people that he's beat so far. But another thing that concerns me about Lomachenko, because I know you brought up the knockout, and of course LeBron ends the scoring drought. So 51-48 Lakers. I know you were saying that you think Haney's going to knock him out in the seventh round or something like that. I will say that when he fought Jermaine Ortiz, which I believe was the last fight for Lomachenko, I've never seen him get hit the way that he got hit in that fight. Like, like you mentioned the wall, like those shots were getting through. And Jermaine Ortiz ain't no Devin Haney,
Yeah,
so like, yeah, so I mean that is on the table. And like I said, I think that if Loma somehow pulls this fight up, it goes back to the being tough as nails. He doesn't want to end his career that way. He's just going to have, what is it? Win one for the Gipper.
yeah.
He's going to have that moment if he wins this
Just
fight.
that gritty resolve that
Just
comes with
refuse to lose. Yeah,
like,
and you know what I mean. But yeah, I think Haney wins this fight. No issues. I think that you know, I don't know. Like, would it be good for boxing if Loma won, or do you
in
need
what
Haney to stay undefeated, like so you can get all these?
you need. History shows that the undefeated versus undefeated fight for some reason is the moniker that boxing has like attached itself to. They
Yeah.
want that marquee matchup.
Hmm.
But like I said, that's like an antiquated way of thinking because they're looking at it this old school way where you had undefeated Lennox Lewis and undefeated Holyfield, like these kind of fights.
Hmm.
You don't have those kind of names now. So what you need is you need appropriate oversaturation. So I need whatever hot fight is that's available every month for the summer.
Hmm.
May, June, July, August. I need all of this in that 100, that 101 critical days of summer that we talked about earlier. You need to make these four fights happen that summer, whether
Right.
it's heavyweight, middleweight, welterweights, whatever you got to do. We need four marquee fights in that month. That way, you keep the buzz going, and these guys talking about these 60-40 splits. It's so much money you can get out of there with your advertisements and everything else, but you got to generate the buzz.
Hmm.
You got to be willing to take $60 million for like it's you can't scoff at this money because you're not getting anything else. You don't have that in kind of endorsements. People aren't looking at boxers for
Hmm.
endorsement deals. It's not like,
Hmm.
oh, Lomachenko's drinking Pepsi in a commercial, I'm gonna buy it. Or you can recognize his voice like the way you hear like Dennis Leary's voice in a Ford commercial or Matthew
Hmm.
McConaughey in the Oldsmobile commercial, or whatever. Like, Shaq in the Buick. Shaq too big for that Buick. So
Right.
boxers aren't getting that kind. Even Floyd Mayweather doesn't have any endorsement deals. All of this money
Hmm.
comes from the fight. And I know you want to get as much money as you can for the fight,
Hmm.
but you can get $50 million if you as a group collectively create the buzz. You got the Garcia knockout. He was your poster child pretty boy. Tavis is your gritty hood guy. Knocked out the pretty boy. So now you get Haney, good, smart, young, tough boxer with the older, gritty Eastern Bloc super European hood boxer,
Hmm.
Ukraine war. You got all these
Yeah.
galvanizing factors. You get that
Yeah.
fight, whatever those
Time to
results
pass the
are.
torch. Time to pass the
So
torch.
now, boom,
Hmm.
June, you make another fight happen. Like you make another like because I think those guys take about 8 weeks, right,
Hmm.
to get ready.
Yeah.
Do you do it again?
All right.
Give me a
So,
moment.
all right. Yeah. So we're at halftime. Lakers are up 53-48. Wrath. Who is the leading scorer for the Lakers right now?
Rui Hachimura.
Yes, you just saw it on the screen.
Yeah, it's on the
17,
screen.
17 points on 7 for 7. Okay, all right, let's play a game real quick before we get back to the boxing. Let's play a quick game. If I told you Anthony Davis has 7 points right now, what did he shoot?
2 for 9.
He's 1 for 6.
All right.
Yeah, he's 1 for 6, made 5 free throws. LeBron with 10, 5, and 6. You know, and then for the Nuggets, Jokic 16, 8, and 5 at halftime. Jamal
Only
Murray.
5 assists.
Yep, only 5 assists. Jamal Murray, you ready for this one? 10 points, 3 for 13. 3 for 13, including 2 for 8 from three. Michael Porter Jr. is 2 of 4, but he's got 5 points, so he hasn't shot very much. So, there you go. So, Rui 7 for 7. So, I mean, he's got to come back to mean. So that could be the downfall for the Lakers, or if Anthony Davis doesn't get it going. If you're
So
Denver,
you got him. You can book 23 points. You get him. You'll probably get about 6 points in the second half, unless
yeah,
it's a matchup thing, and that's why he's getting his points.
yeah,
Unless
and
he's just getting Bruce Brown, taking him off the dribble.
And if you're Denver, I guess you just gotta hope that Jamal Murray can wake up. Get Michael Porter some more shots because he only taken 4. KCP is only taking 5, so maybe you just get some more shots spread around. But
Offensive
yeah,
rebounds.
but when I look at this, sometimes, and I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Sometimes I be getting mad and I be like, "Yo, Spence Crawford, one of y'all come out here and get this L." You know what I mean? Like, because just give me the fight. I don't even like, I don't care what y'all do in the meantime. Drop a rap album. Go save kids from a burning building. I don't care what you do. Give me my fight. And I just So when
I think he got in a car accident again a few
he
weeks like
did, it was a couple of months ago now. Yeah, he
yeah.
did. Yeah, he did. And but Spence, when he fought Ugas, Ugas isn't known as a hard hitter, but he had Spence in danger a couple of times in that fight. So I'm like, y'all gonna keep messing around and not making this fight until the fight ain't the fight no more.
That's the thing. We have evidence to show like if you don't make these fights happen, people will lose interest.
Like imagine,
Deontay Wilder got knocked out 2 times by Tyson Fury, and we watched all 3 fights.
yep. Like imagine if
Even though we knew he was going to lose that third one.
imagine if like Conor McGregor never fought Nate Diaz, or like if he never fought Poirier. Like imagine if like John Jones, the Bones, if he didn't fight Cormier. You know what I mean? Like we
If
would be sitting here.
Rampage Jackson and Chuck Liddell just kept beefing over Twitter but never got in an actual fight, like,
Yeah.
yo, y'all can just fight. Yeah, like,
So
I mean, that's the thing. If you don't like somebody, this is one of the few jobs in the world where it's like, yo, I don't like that dude. I want to hit him, and somebody will pay you for it.
right.
And you out here play pimping, wasting time. Like, just go out there and get to it. I'm like,
See,
granted, I
Matt.
know these guys are putting their health on the line and putting the money on the line. And they don't want to get, they don't want to get ripped off. Then all
My,
you guys need to go to Floyd's house out in Vegas, sit down, and ask him, like, yo, how do you have this table full of money all the time? What did
mhm.
you do to get you in this position? Because I think that's the holdup. Because Floyd was taking these fights because he was getting so much money. He was getting money on the front end. He was getting money on the back end. He was promoting himself, and he talked about it before that he bought out his own contract for like $750,000. So that's how he got out of his contract with I think Bob Arum, and then started his own Mayweather, you know, whatever. So it's like the
Yeah.
money team. So it's like
So
he did his own, and it's like now look, he fought Conor McGregor and Pacquiao. those are like his last two fights. His
Hmm.
last two professional fights that got him to
Yeah.
50-0
Well, he fought Berto, Andre Berto.
to get him to 50-0,
Yeah.
and he probably got it, but he got,
And
according
then
to
he's
him,
just
he got
been
like,
fighting these. Then he's just been fighting these exhibitions.
he's been fighting dudes in Japan and just been fighting. He fought one of the Jake Paul, one of those dudes.
Hmm.
So
Knocked him out, but held him up.
yeah, because you got to sell, and he probably got a little penny. He got at least 8 figures out of it.
That's wild, man. That is so wild. Like
And
I
and
just
boxing's allowing that to happen. Boxing's allowing
no. The
YouTube.
fans are allowing that to happen.
Boxing's
And
allowing it to
the
happen.
fans are allowing that to happen. Just like I told you about Madden all those years, where Madden was the same game every year. They never changed nothing, and then people just kept buying it in droves every single year. So why would they make a better game? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
but
why
no,
would these
that's the
boxers
thing.
change their ways if we still buy the pay-per-views and do all this stuff?
Yeah, but that's why the YouTube game is like that. Roy Jones Tyson fight was abysmal, but yet I was up at 1 o'clock in the morning
I was
watching it,
too. I was too.
watching Roy Jones run for his life. Like, yo, this dude still hits like a hammer. Like, yeah, like you don't lose that. Like
Yeah.
that old man strength. It's not a joke. It's like a real thing. He was like, oh
Yeah.
no, this dude is really trying to knock my head off. He
Yeah.
was
It's
doing that.
just
He did a little dance one time. I was like, yo, I'm out of here.
yeah. You know what
But
I'm
yeah,
saying?
so
And
like
I'll
that.
watch it. And if they decided to do another one next week, I still watch it.
Yeah, I haven't watched any. Like I watched. I don't think I watched. I watched the Nate when Nate Robinson got knocked out by Jake Paul.
Uh
I watched that one.
I watched Frank Gore and Darren Williams.
You watched that one.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Adrian Peterson got knocked out by somebody.
Was it
I
Adrian
think
Peterson? I know Le'Veon Bell. I thought fought somebody.
Le'Veon Bell knocked out Adrian Peterson.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hit him with a ding. He's like, I'm like,
I know.
so. But even I did. Like
Yeah,
I said,
apparently,
I get
Vontae
those
Vontae
I get those
Burfict.
updates. I get those updates on Twitter. So because the fights are on, they're not. It's not really driving
Uh,
my desire to watch. So I get like updates on Twitter or something like that.
apparently, Le'Veon Bell wants to box Vontae Burfict. And like Burfict wants to play golf or something.
Yeah, leave that man alone
Yeah,
because he look like he headbutt you on purpose.
yeah, yeah.
When this was fight Greg Hardy, he's out there doing bare knuckle boxing, getting knocked out. Something else is that's getting a little buzz doing
Yeah.
bare knuckle boxing. It's like professional boxing with professional boxers has an opportunity. Like you still are the kings of the platform, and you're just allowing.
Act like it.
Like I'm glad we got this fight, but it should be. I should be getting it to my phone.
Yeah,
I get advertisements for Lacoste and New Era hats and Falcons gear. I'm
yeah.
not getting any. Like I should be getting bombarded with pay-per-views for Haney and Lomachenko. Like, but it seems like the buzz isn't there. ESPN doesn't really have the buzz. Like the. I think we're
They're not
talking about
talking.
it
They're not talking
today.
about Pete Alonso leading the major leagues with 16 home runs.
Yeah, because we're getting to baseball in June. Around June, around the time the All Star votes start to like to count, and they
Yeah.
start to like go up and down,
So,
and people start paying attention.
so this is the first time in Sports Reports' ordered history I don't have a get it off my chest today. Because I think I spent all my energy on 2-5 Daily yelling about Jokic. So
Yeah,
what I wanted to do instead of me having to get it off my chest, I wanted to have a quick 60-second discussion, maybe. So, like, what you think the punishment for Ja Morant be? Because I know we didn't really get into it, and I saw Mad Dog, screaming for 40 games and all that kind of stuff. Like, so what do you think the league should do? Like, should there be game punishment? Should it be like I heard people say he should be suspended for the whole season? I disagree with that. Do you think that he should be suspended at all, or like
I think the league should be wary of a lawsuit because if they try to suspend him, if I get a good lawyer, I'm suing you. I didn't commit a
Mhm,
crime. If you're mad that I had a gun in my hand
mhm.
in a state where I'm legally allowed to have a gun in my hand, if he was drinking a 40, then okay, you can have some outrage, but you still would have to prove that it was alcohol in that 40. It could have been tea just for the show. You got
See,
to prove that he committed a crime. My thing, I like I said the other day, I was upset with them because of the negative attention he's bringing to himself in that environment, not
Hmm.
what he's doing for the league. I'm like, yo,
Right,
you're riding
right.
around on live in the city, and you're probably riding through his daytime. He's probably riding around, through the hood or whatever the case may be. People will pop up on you. PNB
Hmm.
Rock. People will pop up on you. Pop
Right.
Smoke. People will pop up on you. So that
Hmm.
was my thing. I don't think the NBA could do anything to him because he legally can. If he legally has a firearm,
Hmm.
he's allowed to
Hmm.
have it in his hand while he's driving.
Right, right, right.
Maybe like because no one's talking about the fact they didn't have a seatbelt on, and that's why the only violation in the video.
See, I don't know
Everyone's
how,
worried about the gun.
I don't know how I feel about it because like in the military, we always talked about deterrency and or deterrence and mitigation, so I think that if the league was going to do something, his first hiatus away from the team should have been whatever punishment they were going to devy out, because at that time he had the other stuff that we were learning about, like with the kid that he punched and going up to the stores and like trying to fight dudes in the parking lot and pulling guns out on people. So like that's when maybe you would have done something, just from the standpoint of, I don't know what the legal guidelines are, but just from the standpoint of, I got to do something because I don't know where you going. Like, are you going to get killed?
Yeah,
Or are you going to end up killing somebody? So, like, I'm gonna protect you from you. In this situation, I'm like, yo, Silver, just pull him in the office, cuss his ass out, tell him get his act together or whatever, and then you just move on. I don't think there needs to be some hefty suspension. I don't think, like, because I mean, right now they're like, he's suspended from team activities. Like, what activities going on right now?
none.
You know what I
He already
mean?
got his
So
check.
yeah, so it's a cop out unless you're gonna have him out of there with Dylan Brooks, but that ain't gonna happen. So from that standpoint, there's a part of me that might want to see something just from a deterrent standpoint of like, look, we sent you on your little hiatus or whatever. You still fucking around doing dumb things, because all it is dumb stuff. Like, he ain't commit a
Yeah,
crime, like you said. He's
it's
just being
dumb,
dumb.
dangerous stuff. But like I said, the dangerous part isn't the possession
I
of the
just
gun. It's the gun.
I
The
just don't want to
dangerous
wake
part
up.
isn't holding the gun.
I just don't want to wake up to a rest in peace Ja Morant, or hear that he pulled the trigger on somebody, or somebody in his
Stop hanging
entourage.
out in the
You
hood. It's
know,
not that hard. You know where it's at.
right? You know what I mean?
Like
But
just like you don't have to. You don't have to. You gotta. Just he needs to hear this. Josh, stop fronting. It's not. I'm not saying just because it's the inner city, it's so dangerous and everybody is just treacherous, but you are putting yourself in a position to where
you're a target.
there are at least a few people out there who really want to get your jewelry. We know it's you get internet notoriety because of it. People are always posting when they steal a celebrity's chain or they sell it back to the store. You wear a lot of jewelry, you go a lot of these events. I'm not sure how much security you hire because it doesn't seem like he hires security. It seems like he has his homeboys. It's like go go up north to talk to Tony Dungy and get squared away because that's what Steven Jackson had to do after the malice at the palace. Tony Dungy came to
Hey,
his house
Steven
and sat
Jackson
down
was
with him in
out.
his living room.
Steven Jackson went back to the hood like a couple of months ago or last year to show that he could still go.
Like, go to the hood. I'm good in Chicago. It's like, bro, it's like I don't be in the project hallways talking about how I be in the
Not
projects
projects
all
all
day.
day. You know what I'm
It's
saying? But
it's
then a
it's
few.
unfortunate. It's
But then a
unfortunate that
few.
people live in those situations, and I get it. Comes off as us being dismissive, but it's like, yo, it's different for people who live there, and you come through there flashing stuff, being
Mhm.
flashy. That's the
Yeah.
problem. I think that's the only lesson. But he's
Well,
gonna have to get that lesson either the hard way. It's not gonna be a money thing
well,
because he has
you
enough
can't
money.
forget. You can't forget a few bars later. This is how you prove it to me. Get violent. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
it's like I said,
Jigga.
he's a basketball player. Yeah,
But yeah, but that's my
Hove
getting off
drops
my
gems.
chest. That's my getting off my chest. I was just wondering your
Yeah,
thoughts on that.
yeah. I don't think they should suspend them because I don't know what grounds they would use to suspend them other than we told you last time. Because last time they had the league leverage of you were on the road
Hmm.
and you were in a public
And did you
place.
get that? How did you get that gun then?
How'd you get that gun inside the
Was it on
public
the plane?
place?
All that stuff like that. Yeah.
But in his car is no different than Lauren Boebert, the Colorado representative, who was literally in D.C. with her gun. filmed a promo commercial, and then when they were like, "Yo, you can't have a gun in DC," she's like, "Oh, those were prop guns." So like, let's keep it a buck. I'm not
Was she
saying you
was
got to
she the one
pass
that
the
did
buck.
was she the one that didn't know Ukraine was in Europe?
I don't know. It's probably a couple of them that didn't know that. She was the one that they own her and her husband, soon to be ex-husband, own a
Yeah,
restaurant
yeah.
in Denver
Hmm.
or somewhere in Colorado where all the wait staff carry guns like
Uh-huh.
at work.
I remember.
Yeah, so if it's legal, it's legal. And if it's
Right.
legal for her, it's legal for him. If he had a legally registered firearm and he had it in his hand, I'm more concerned that he had it up next to his head.
Right.
I'm
Well, I
I'm
guess.
concerned that every time he hears a gun bar in a song, he's gonna pull it out and show it off. It's
Well, I
like
guess
I'm concerned with that part of the behavior. But
if
as far
if
as
he wants some
legality
time
of it,
off, if he wants some time off and I guess a suspension, all he got to do is post the movie. I guess.
yo, you gotta piss off the right people.
Yeah.
And
So
I mean, I'm waiting on the NRA to see if they're gonna release a statement in support of Ja Morant.
I know we talked about this last week. We waiting on
Yeah,
the
I'm
NRA.
waiting on the NRA. Like, I mean, where y'all at?
Yeah.
Tag him in
Yeah. But
this video.
yeah, I'm gonna just throw it at the end of the description. Where's the
Yeah,
NRA? You know what I'm
where's the
saying?
NRA at? You know what I
But
mean?
yeah,
So
you got to get it off my chest.
no, because like I said, I've been thinking about that for
Hmm.
the past couple of days, and then everyone keeps talking about it. I'm not sure exactly what Adam Silver can do. And another thing, they need to stop saying Adam Silver is so pro player. Like, who is he supposed to be? It's like who's getting you're not getting these checks if you don't have LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, you know, KD,
Joel
Booker,
Embiid,
Joel Embiid. If you
James
don't have
Harden.
these
Yeah.
players, I mean, ask the XFL how they feel about their commissioner, if he's player friendly or not, because you don't know none of the players except for AJ McCarron.
And by the way, congratulations to Arlington for winning the championship.
4-6, holla at your boy. Never give
Yeah.
up.
What a team. They told the New York Giants, hold my beer with your 9-7 Super Bowl championships. But yeah, sports reports is ordered, baby. Like we're here. It's us. We'll see you on Monday. Peace. We love you, America.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Armed Forces Week. Boom.
Yes, sir. Holla back. Leave us some messages. Like, subscribe, review. Give us a 5-star rating.
You can dislike us, but tell us why. Any information is good information. It's free.
All
free
of it is
99.
Free. All of it's free. And if you got something to say, you got something to take us to task for, let us hear it. We ain't gonna be boxing. We ain't got egos. You know what I'm saying?
Just listening.
Scream at your boy!
Just a retiree with a hobby. Holla at me.
Peace.
Peace.